Trust me, Laura.
Welcome to the day before the earth stood still. Y'all ready? If you think that this Friday the 13th means bad luck, wait until tomorrow when you fail to acknowledge that it's V Day. And this V Day, and V does not stand for victory, it stands for losing. For the last time this year, let this serve as a reminder, gentlemen, that tomorrow is the 14th of February, known as Valentine's Day. There are any number of traditional ways to acknowledge this day. We know all about the flowers, the chocolates, the stuffed critters. So, ladies, this is for you. What has been the best Valentine's Day you've ever had and why? For my partners in crime, what are some of the worst memories of Valentine's for you? Nobody's talking.
Huh?
Chris, this should be easy for you. I remember having to write and sign 30, maybe 35 cards for girls and guys alike way back in elementary school. My
Yeah.
mom had to buy those huge boxes of the cheapest cards you could find, one for both my sister and for me. At the age of 7 or 8, that just sucked. 35 cards took at least an hour of my day.
That was
And
fun, though.
for what? No matter what the card said, we didn't mean even one word of it.
No.
Whether we wrote it or whether it was already on the card. To add to the insult, the teacher had a list of names, as often as not, on the dreaded blackboard, so we could copy them down, take it home, and write the cards. And that really sucked.
Not our teachers. They had it already mimeographed and handed out papers, huh, Chris?
Uh-huh.
With all the names on
I
it.
just remember writing out cards and then having to give those little itty bitty boxes of hearts.
And take all those cards and put them in everybody's little bag on their desk.
Yeah.
Signing my name wasn't the problem. Had to address the stupid envelope, stuff it, and then lick it to seal it. Good Friday morning. I'm Rayford Brown. Welcome to Live and Local Real Talk.
Sealed with a lick because a kiss won't stick. I'm Chris Marks.
What? And good morning. I'm Lee Barrels.
And
Definitely going to be Friday the 13th.
Have a clue what's going on right. Yeah, it is the
No
13th.
clue.
It's the 13th of the month. It is a Friday. And
No clue.
for you folks way, way, way out there that haven't reached the Friday the 13th yet, good luck.
Stick it. What?
Good luck. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Yeah, as is unfortunately the way of the news world, though we're not news people, but we do bring you information that you may or may not get anywhere else. So we got some sad stuff to start the day with. A young Marine stationed here at Camp Lejeune has been declared dead after he fell from the USS Iwo Jima participating in a Marine expeditionary training exercise down in the Caribbean. Lance Corporal Chukwuneka Ofora, don't ask me again,
I think you did a good job.
fell from the ship last Saturday night. Aircraft and small boats searched the waters for more than 72 hours before ending the rescue operation. The Marine was an infantry rifleman and had served in the Marine Corps since 2023. An investigation is ongoing to determine exactly what happened. That's, it's a wonder, honestly, that more people don't go overboard from naval vessels. The ocean was not so rough that the Iwo Jima should have been rocking too nasty down there. But it doesn't take much of a slip, especially if you're. I'm not saying that he was, but a lot of us have done it. Hang over the side and just to say, "Hey, this is cool, isn't it? I mean, I'm free. I'm free." And then a little bit of a
Rock.
slip or
Slip.
a roll or anything else, and you'll find yourself in the drink.
Oh, it was a sad story. Very sad. He was stationed right here.
Yep.
At one time.
I've never been aboard a ship that somebody has gone overboard like that. Have been on training operations where that happens, and had the privilege of watching a demonstration of one of those training missions aboard the what is now the USS North Carolina. And it was waiting to be commissioned at the time back in 2008, and we were on the surface, and the Captain Mark, and I cannot remember his name, he said, "Why don't you come up top here?" Oh, I get to go up the conning tower, go way to the top of his boat. Yeah, buddy. And yes, submarines are not ships; they are boats. But anyway, we got up there, and he said he asked everybody to bring up a big old box wrapped in tinfoil that would float. And he said, I'm going to declare a man overboard, so hold on. The boat's running probably 25, 28 knots at the time on the surface. He throws this box overboard the side, and he hollers, man overboard, man overboard, man overboard. And all engines, they don't go into neutral. They go into backup gear.
Yeah.
It goes from 25 knots, say, to it slows down immediately, and then it starts backing up. And they got everybody that's available comes up to the deck, and everybody's got binoculars strapped on, and they're all looking. And so the first one that spots this box floating, he never takes his eyes off of it, and he directs, and everybody else is standby and all looking. This one person was directing the captain to tell the boat to do whatever, and they go and they back right straight up to that sucker and pick it up.
Now, did they drop a boat?
They didn't need to.
Bits, or just
they didn't need to.
Climb the ladders?
The sub is built float on water.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry. I was thinking of.
It's not a 30-foot tall thing. Yeah.
Wow.
Well, yesterday, I know after the show, I was telling you about it. 2 U.S. Navy sailors were injured yesterday Wednesday, after a U.S. Navy destroyer and a supply ship, U.S. Navy supply ship, collided in the Caribbean.
I watched it last night.
Isn't that crazy?
And well, it looks like the destroyer made a hard turn to the right, or something got stuck. And of course, he had to back off forward speed,
Right.
and he could not control the direction of travel. And instead of coming up alongside, it was going to be a refueling mission.
Yeah, refill.
It was starting over, and they run parallel for a while, but he inches over, and somehow it took a hard, probably not 90 degrees, but it took like probably a 30-degree turn to the right. That's on a collision course, and they did.
Some videos out there of how it happened, and the alarm, the horns going off, and you can hear one guy going, they're gonna hit us, and it was crazy.
Yeah. So anyway, they're lucky, and there's some scraping and a major investigation underway. And this was down in the Caribbean.
I'm sure.
So anyway, those boats come within ships. I'm sorry, those ships come within for the actual refueling operation. And you guys have probably seen, I guess, dating back to World War II. It looks like a big old gun that they bring up on deck, shoulder mounted, and they shoot a rock. It's not a rock, but they shoot it across to the other ship, and it's a small line to begin with. Then they pull ever increasing large lines over. And for refueling operations, what they'll do is they'll finally get a big steel cable, and they will string it tight between the two boats, and they will maintain their distance like that. And then they will a hose, fuel line is brought over like on this. It's not attached, but it's got loops in it that goes across the line like a clothesline.
Yeah.
And they get the high pressure fuel line over. And once everybody says go, then they start pumping. And that's when you really can't be screwing up.
Yeah.
Because you don't want fuel going everywhere just to spray of fuel. Oh, there's sparks on board boats. You can't help it.
Yeah.
That's just the way it is. So you don't want any raw fuel out there. And some of it's jet fuel, some of it's going to be diesel, whatever. But anyway, that's what their intention was, to do that. Of course, they broke it off. They stopped it before anything else was going on. And as I learned too, I've heard of it, but I've never seen it when it happened. But I've heard of it happening before.
It's Jennifer.
And it was kind of they're very lucky. They did it by the book, and according to everything that I was reading about it while I was watching it on TV, and I got mesmerized in it, and then I rewound it and watched it again. But that's just me. I got hooked on it and see how they did it. They did a great job. Don't know what the steering problem was, the maneuvering problem, But the captain is not at the helm. They put somebody at the helm, and the captain on the two vessels, the one is barking commands and telling them, turn left a little bit, turn right a little bit. Kind of like a backseat driver does.
Yeah.
Are you familiar with that?
Backseat drivers
or right front seat driver?
Right front, but she worries more about.
You both need to remember tomorrow's Valentine's Day, okay?
I do, but I just
watch what you say.
Today's Friday the 13th. Next month we have another Friday the 13th. There's 3 this year.
Every time there is a
Jennifer, help me.
Every time there is a February Friday the 13th, unless it's a leap year, there will be a Friday the 13th in March. And that's just the way the law.
The other one, by the way, is in November.
The law is written. Hey, Jennifer, how are you?
Good morning. I'm just calling in with a public service announcement for all the men out there.
Okay.
I know I keep hearing y'all talk about Valentine's Day is tomorrow, and that is true. That is true. But take it from someone who has worked in a florist, who has delivered in a florist, and who has worked in a floral department. If your honey, the recipient of your flowers, works, you best get them flowers to her today. She don't want them tomorrow. Do not let your honey be the only woman in the office that doesn't get flowers.
Gotcha.
It's not going to sit well with you.
Yeah, got that.
Trust me on that one.
Kathy got hers yesterday.
If she works where there's other women going to be getting flowers, don't let her go home tonight and she's the only one that didn't get them at work.
It's not that it's coming to her. It's what she gets to show off. Is that what you're saying?
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
Well, as long as we're on the same page. And I agree with you totally, 100%.
So I'm just trying to help all the little fellas out. Don't be waiting. Go ahead. Now, if she specifically tells you, or if she doesn't work, whatever, there's nothing wrong with that. But if she's a bank teller, or she's in a insurance office, or wherever, and there's other women and everybody's got flowers sitting on their desk.
Now, let me ask you this one.
Come home tonight.
Let me ask you this one, Ms. Jennifer. Suppose she works in a flower shop, assembling flowers for this fateful day that's coming up. What do you do for her?
Well, my husband knew better than to. It's
Chocolates.
One of those you don't want to. I didn't want Terry to buy me flowers that I had to arrange, but at the same time, I didn't want him going to the competition. So, for me, Valentine's has never really been it's never been a real big hoo-ha day. You know, if I was working in the forest, I was too tired by the time I got home to think about Valentine's Day.
Flowers? So you got me flowers? Right. You got me flowers? I've been working to my butts in flowers all day long. You give me flowers?
Exactly. So that's just...
A bottle of Jack Daniels would have been better, right?
Right. And Valentine's Day, it's just if out of 365 days, that's the only day that you're going to do something. I mean, that's just how it's just a commercialized. But y'all were talking you were talking the other day something about flowers, and I was going to call in, and I don't know, but anywho, back years ago, there was somebody in Jacksonville, I don't know who it was, but now that was a smart lady. She had it going on. She would have buckets of flowers.
Oh, yeah.
And on Fridays, y'all were talking about like flowers out. Somebody was talking about like flower stands.
You could stop it and get them on the side of the road.
Okay. Well, this lady turned it up a notch. She didn't leave it to the men to just think about, well, let me pull over here and get them. She went around to like the car dealerships, places like that was predominantly men employees, oil change places and stuff, and was like, hey, I've got flowers.
Really?
And yeah, Terry came home with a bouquet one day, and I was like, what? You're leaving me? What's this?
What did you do wrong? What you got a guilty conscience?
What did you do, or what do you want to do? And Terry, bless his heart, Terry didn't say, "Oh, honey, I was just thinking about you." He told me, well, there was this lady come by. Some flowers, but I mean that is would be a
that's a good idea.
Yeah, but she went around to the places that
picked up the flowers across from the cemetery and started to resell them. No,
well,
don't do that. Okay,
no.
Okay, now.
But anywho, that's my public.
I had a comeback at the supermarket one time. I won't forget that. Wasn't that many years ago, and I would buy flowers for the house or buy flowers for Robbie, because it's not for the house, it's for Robbie. And I'd buy the flowers here, there, and everywhere. I saw them and they were fresh, and I liked the looks of them. And I had to go through to make sure there wasn't anything that cats were allergic to. So I would ask questions to make sure I didn't do something stupid. But anyway, I picked up some flowers and I was headed for the checkout line. And the lady said, "Oh, that's pretty nice. A special occasion." I said, "No, preventative maintenance." And she just about lost it.
Preventative maintenance. Yep. And I'm going to go ahead, and I hope I don't step on anybody's toes. As far I have worked in a florist, an actual brick and mortar florist, and I have worked, of course, at the Piggly Wiggly, and I handled the flowers when I was assistant store manager, but I also took care of the floral department while I was at Piggly Wiggly.
Okay.
And yes, there are different grades of flowers, but I can tell you, hand on the Bible, the truck pulled to the local florist in Richlands, North Carolina, left their parking lot, and came to the Piggly Wiggly.
Yep.
Most of the flowers, now there were some that I got from our actual distributor, like the wrap bouquets, stuff like that in bulk.
You mean the guys from Mayola Milk? They would also bring you flowers, right?
That's where my mom
as a
worked.
distributor.
Well, no, I didn't get them from Mayola Milk.
Mayola.
The grocer distributor out of Hickory.
Okay.
But that's who delivered to us. I mean, for our actual groceries, our grocery distributor, not individual small things like that. But anywho, yes, you would order your wrap bouquets and stuff and get them from those people. Mm-hmm. But if it was like your regular, I need this, it was the same flowers. Yeah. It's the same flowers. So that's, and regardless, they're going to die in a few days anyway.
They're already dead. They just haven't turned bad yet.
I went in the Food City yesterday, ran in the Food City, and now the Food Cities here have huge year-round floral departments. So when you walk in, of course, everything, it looked like Cupid had just thrown up all the way across the front of the grocery store. But the men and women, everybody was buying flowers. Yeah. They were getting plants. They were getting wrapped flowers. And I thought, people, just let me get some cat food and a Diet Mountain Dew and get out of here.
There you go.
Hopefully there'll be a lot of love tomorrow.
All right.
Yes.
Jennifer, thank you. Well, be careful. Don't walk under any ladders. And happy Valentine's Day.
Happy Valentine's Day.
Well, now, look, I got married on the 13th. It wasn't on a Friday, but our anniversary is on the 13th September.
So it's
always been lucky,
what is it? Every 5 years it shows up on, you have an anniversary on Friday the 13th? Ugh. Okay.
I've never really paid any attention to it.
Yeah.
I really haven't, but the 13th's always been lucky for me.
Well, good.
So there you go.
All right. Sounds good.
Have a good
You too.
Bye-bye.
I gotta say, Kathy gets a bouquet of flowers every week.
That's
but
cool.
this week they were roses.
You know who they're coming from?
Yeah. Judge Judy next week. Oh my Lord.
Okay.
Well,
that's really nice of you.
Anybody traveling today in the state of North Carolina, stay away from Fayetteville. Donald Trump and the First Lady will be visiting Fort Bragg today.
Bless their hearts.
Yes.
Well, she will be.
Mm-hmm.
Sources tell me that I'll be in Southern Pines meeting him.
It says Donald.
You're going to be beating him in Southern Pines?
Meeting. Meeting him in
Oh.
Southern Pines.
Oh, there's a black.
To defeat him.
Okay, there's one of them unmarked black SUVs pulling up now.
Anyway, I'd
Okay.
stay away from Fayetteville.
Feidelberg. Looking at today and the weekend's marine outlook out to 20 nautical miles, you can expect northerly winds today, 10 to 15 knot, seas 2 to 4 feet every 8 seconds. Nice. Sounds and rivers only a moderate chop tomorrow. Westerly winds, a light westerly wind breeze, 5 to 10 knots. When the winds are from the west, the fishing is always best. Seas around 2 feet. 2 feet. 8 seconds apart. Sounds and rivers, a light chop. Sunday, southerly winds 5 to 10 in the morning, increasing to 15 to 20 by afternoon. Do your stuff in the mornings, folks. Seas 2 to 4 feet. Sounds and rivers, a light chop, increasing to choppy in the afternoon.
Today, sunny with a high near 52, north wind 6 to 8 miles per hour. Tonight, clear with a low around 28. Saturday, sunny with a high near 60. Sunday, rain starting in the afternoon with a high near 63. Sunday night, rain. Washington's birthday, Monday, rain in the morning. Mostly cloudy with a high near 60. This will be every single weekend since the start of 2026 that we've had rain in the weekend.
We had
Okay.
snow once.
Well, it started as rain.
Okay. I just
It takes all kinds of stupid to make this world go round.
There's a lot
We
of
all in
stupid out
concurrence
there.
with that.
yes.
And it's-
Oh, go for it.
And no, I hadn't got to. You don't even know what I'm going to do yet. And in spite of what we see and talk about every day, some of it actually happens outside the walls of the District of Columbia, or specifically outside Capitol Hill, in the little community of Teachee. In Duplin County, here in North Carolina, one man is in the jailhouse now. He might be under the jail before it's all over. He stands accused of threatening to kill a Superior Court judge and the county's sheriff. Yeah, buddy.
Wait, who was the judge?
I will get to that. Oh, yes, it's him. That's what they're talking about over there. Oh, my. The SBI has charged 37-year-old, should know better, Matthew Tart with 3 felony counts of threats against executive, legislative, or court officers. Warrants say Tart threatened to kill Superior Court Judge, drum roll, Henry Stevens. It was just a good thing it's not his daddy. And Duplin County Sheriff Stratton Stokes, along with staff members. Tart is also accused of making several threatening posts on social media. But where did you please just beg off on? You had too much dope. That's the only thing I can say. He's seen a lot of courtrooms since 2005, though 10 times on drug-related charges, from selling to possession to maintaining a vehicle and of maintaining a place to get drugs ready for sale, and a couple of convictions for DWI. Poor Mr. Tart. If and when he's released from prison after spending some quality time for his misdeeds, I'm pretty sure anytime he's confronted, pulled over for traffic offenses, jaywalking, or whatever, he's going to come to understand that any red flag attached to his DMV information will have cops performing a rather intense felony stop. So, Matthew, best to get ready for some future encounters where you will be treated as a man who threatened to kill the sheriff and a Superior Court judge. You might want to consider yourself very lucky that you didn't threaten Judge Stevens Sr. You may have been flogged. You could have seen that penalty coming back to North Carolina's judicial system,
Trip to the ER.
especially wherever Judge Stevens Sr. was hanging out.
Don't be dropping any paper on the.
No, sir, buddy. You
What? Dumb. Do you remember back towards the last of January, we talked about a 25-year-old man, Ryan Lewis, that was arrested and then was charged with threatening to kill deputies once he got out of jail?
Yeah.
Well, he was released on bond, but he's back in jail because now he's threatened the entire parole board. He says, when I get out of jail, I'm going to come back and shoot this place up and kill everybody in the building. Next
In
court
other words,
appearance
he's
is February 23rd.
He's there for life now, right?
Yeah.
February 23rd is his next appearance in court.
My goodness gracious.
Yeah.
It takes,
Yeah. Dumb.
But
Dumb.
now, another bad case, we'll get to the elephant in the room, of course.
Mm-hmm.
Just outside Greenville, up in Pitt County, the sheriff's office is investigating a violent home invasion there.
Oh,
When
wow.
deputies arrived shortly after 3 o'clock in the morning on Wednesday, they found a victim that was tied up who had been severely beaten. Neighbors told deputies the home was used as an Airbnb and is actually located across the street from a church preschool.
Mm.
The victim was taken to the hospital for treatment. The sheriff's office has this listed as a burglary, an assault, and a first-degree sexual assault. Investigators have not listed anyone as a suspect, yet that investigation is continuing. Oh, we forget sometimes how heinous crimes like we're going to talk about out there in Arizona, we forget sometimes that they have happened right here.
Yes.
Some of them have happened in this neighborhood,
Yeah.
The potential that was there. We forget the number of really bad people that have come through this county and have committed some of the most atrocious crimes you can imagine. Some of us have known some of these people, have been some of the victims. The bad people that did it, had dealings with them. It happens. It can happen in any neighborhood where you live. Hence the reason that I encourage folks to take precautions. It's as simple as everybody who's been in Jacksonville, in the city limits of Jacksonville for any period of time, knows every garbage pickup time.
Mhm.
We're encouraged to have our trash out by the roadside before daylight, basically, because the trash trucks, especially in the summertime, will be making those rounds before daylight or at daylight. Right now, sometimes they run a little bit later because it's still cold in the morning and you can't see so well. I've thought about it the other night when I took mine out, and I sometimes will take mine out because I forget about it, and I'll take it out after dark.
Mhm.
And I started to think about it. Everywhere else I go, everywhere I walking my dog, everywhere else I go, I'm taking precautions. I walked all the way out there with one hand on the recycle, one hand on the trash, pulling them out there to the road, which is going to be 75 feet from my
Give or take,
driveway,
yeah.
my parking spot up here.
Give or take.
A long ways. When you look at it, I got to get there and don't get back. And this is a short street. Some idiots drive up and down this street from time to time because they're in a hurry to get somewhere else. What's to stop somebody if, not from me, they don't care about me, they don't want me. My God, they'd pay somebody to take me back.
Why would they want an 85-year-old woman, Rayford? They would want to.
Money.
They have they don't know what you have.
Yeah, they do.
Well, criminals like that don't pick their victims when it comes random.
But anyway, why? If Robbie goes out, I just don't
You better
understand
not let her
doing
out.
that kind of stuff.
Because
I usually take the trash out.
the guy and the person in Arizona, he has already shown he's not the smartest.
Oh, he's
not the smart. Not that there's smart crooks.
there are cagey crooks. There are those that are experienced crooks. There are those who have they've been there, done that, got the T-shirt a few times, and they've learned. And some of them have learned how to do what they do while they've been in prison before.
Mm-hmm.
Learn from the bad people, the really bad people. But when you start learning, here's something I would advise all you new virgin crooks out there headed for prison. Where you go up there and you think you're going to listen to the big boys up there talking and telling you how to do things, pay a little attention to one thing. They got caught and convicted.
Yeah.
Why do you want to take advice from a loser? No. Hey, you can go out and do it this way. Well, why didn't you do it that way if you're so damn smart?
Yeah.
Tell me, you're in jail. You're in prison. I don't want to listen to you. So all you guys who, when you get to prison and they start giving you advice on how to do things when you get back outside, go find somebody else.
Jennifer did a public service announcement. I'd like to piggyback off of that. Because Valentine's Day is about love, basically. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Could be about survival.
Well, yeah, that too. If you don't do the right things, like Jennifer said. But let me tie that into Wreaths Across America for a second. If you want to really show your love to somebody and it doesn't cost you anything, hardly. I mean, we all know what they're going to pay for a dozen roses.
$2 million.
Yeah, just about. But for $34, you can buy 2 wreaths to honor a fallen veteran, and you can do it in their name. Put it on an honor wall. Yep. And if you're interested, our wreaths honoring our fallen veterans. Y'all see that? Because of the team here. They're official members of our group. We're official members of our group. And it's not too early to start placing your orders for Wreaths Across America and buying your wreaths now.
Right.
Get it done now. Do it
absolutely
out of love.
I do have one question.
Yes, sir.
A burning question that I keep forgetting to ask you. I know what I do, but places like national cemeteries, like Wilmington, they cover their stuff already.
They're covered. Well, I mean, they're all of their grave sites are covered.
That's what I'm saying.
Yes.
So here is
What's
that? I'm not going to let that stop me.
Oh, that.
But one of the individuals, an individual that I if he was buried anywhere else, I would have one there.
I'd make sure of it.
We do that.
Yeah.
I will still put it in his name, and it can go to other places that do not have wreaths covered there, but it's still in his name. Okay, that's an option for y'all. Think about it. Hello.
It really is, and again, I can't say how much we appreciated everybody's efforts. This past year on December 13th, we had 3/4. Rayford, you were there. Lee
I was amazed.
3/4 of the veterans' grave sites were covered. 3/4, and that was the first year we did it there.
Yeah, and they expected 20%.
Yeah,
at best, right?
Yeah, at best. So we're gonna do our best for 100%.
100%. How about 110%? Just for
we would love that, and we could donate them to some other great cemeteries. But yeah,
we're gonna change gears for just a little bit, but it's still gonna kind of keep it in the same part of the world.
Seen this guy before.
Yeah, I have to, and I didn't see.
Breaking up the place.
I wasn't even in the post office when I saw him. That was pretty cool. Or his picture.
Although it did have to do with crime when I saw him recently.
I'm trying to think of most of the times that I've actually dealt with this young man, and most of it was dealing with some kind of a criminal activity or another.
Young man.
Yeah,
that was back in the day, wasn't that right?
This was a good one. He was sitting next to me yesterday at our Crime Stoppers meeting.
Yeah.
I do want to say real quick that it's good to see you. I know you've had a rough last year.
2025 was a year.
2025 was a rough year for you. And I know we had talked before about you coming in, and you were dealing with so much at the time. But it's really good to have you back.
Now, who we're talking about is a guy named Mac Hugh.
However you pronounce it, that's fine.
What was really wild was one day I introduced him to somebody, or maybe I was talking about you to somebody. I called him Mike McVeigh.
Oh wow, no relation.
Back in the day, McVeigh was on the minds of a lot of us.
Yeah.
So anyway, he popped up. Anyway, Michael McHugh.
Yes, here I am.
Jacksonville Daily News fame for years and years and years and a couple of eons. And
those were good years, but man, there's a lot of separation between then and now. 8 years, coming up on 8 years.
Wow.
That's right.
And I just drove by the old joint yesterday. As Chris said, we had Crime Stoppers, so came down barefoot. Yeah, it was good times. Yeah, that was fun. That was fun. 14 great years.
Every time I go by there and I look and it's
a shame. Yeah.
It's the end of an era.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Yeah, and we're not alone. I mean, they started to call them news deserts, and the desert, the sand has grown all around the country. Even my old hometown newspaper up in in Allentown, it's not the same. And then my adopted hometown for 21 years, the Washington Post just laid off a third of their staff last week.
Wow.
They got rid of the sports section. Chris Miller, are you listening? They got rid of this. Yeah. It's and then, that was purchased by Jeff Bezos years ago, who was going to transform it. And they certainly have transformed it.
Yeah. The newspaper business is, and the warning, the handwriting was on the wall, warning after warning after warning. This thing,
that thing
killed it.
Yeah, it was interesting because last week, we still have a newspaper in Swansboro, the Tideland News, and it's published once a week on Wednesday. It comes out through Carteret Publishing in Morehead. So they do a Wednesday, Sunday edition. So they had the
broadsheet.
Exactly. They had the model, a long time ago as far as the number of days, and it gets delivered on the same day through the mail. But no, I was reading a financial article about Google's earnings, and this is the reason why the newspapers are more or less dead. Their earnings for last quarter, ending in December 31st, their gross sales were $134 billion. Wow. Chris, from the corporate world, a quarter is usually about 90 days or so. So do the math on that. More than $1 billion in sales revenue every day. Their earnings for the year for the four quarters was like $435 billion. That's advertising dollars because that's where the audience is. Advertising is just chasing eyeballs. And when that thing you point to, the computer, became, everybody had them in their household times 3 or 4.
Well,
that's where the eyeballs went.
We in the real news business that I was in at the time, television, you and the dirty thumbs division newspapers, of which I still prefer something that I have to scroll through and then it fell out. I got to start again. No. I like thumbing through a newspaper. Yeah. I can go from page, I got to check the obituaries.
Make sure you're not in it.
Yeah.
That's right.
So if I'm in it, I just quit reading. So we'll go from there. But anyway, I look, and then I go back to the section as I want to. And I can go through a newspaper, let's say 26 pages. I can thumb through it very quickly. Then I can pick a note and go back to it. Of course, and the TV business, because I was thumbing through newspapers, not just one, every day, every morning, everything that was a daily, and multiple cities around Wilmington that were bi-weeklies, two a
Brunswick
week.
Beacon, Wilmington Star,
weeklies,
Myrtle Beach Sun.
I got all of those papers were delivered to me, either by mail or they were delivered. I had racks. You've seen those little slats that you buy and you hang the newspapers up on so you can. I had them.
You used to see them in the public library. It was almost like bamboo shoots.
Yeah,
they were. Right? They would stay there.
And I made a point of putting the daily paper up there every day. First thing in the morning.
Well, they used to have, I don't think they have them anymore, but the little slot, the machine. The box machine where you put your quarter, then your 50 cents or whatever. Yeah.
Now it's $4 a copy.
Yeah.
75 cents
Good
on
luck.
Sunday.
Good luck getting 16 quarters. Yeah. In the industry, they're called racks.
Yes.
Yeah, right.
Rack sales.
You lift it up and you pull one out. Hopefully you only pull one out, but
what would you do with more than one?
Sell them.
Well, if you were in it.
Well, or if you were a paperboy carrier, such as myself, if you were short, you'd drop a quarter and take 10 out because you were short. You figure it's a company anyway. So whether the DM comes out and gets me or I get it out of the box, the rack. I was a newspaper carrier too.
Well,
every kid was. I was. Yeah, in our generation, when you talk to people, what'd you do? I started as a paperboy.
Were you ever bit?
Sorry?
Ever bit by a dog?
Probably chased by some. Yeah, I had a morning route and an evening route. We had two papers in our town.
Yeah. Back in the day, when it was 7. My first Sunday morning carrying them, and that was with the old bags on the front.
Canvas bags.
Yeah. Right in the old.
I had never had any issues, and I lived in somewhat of a large small city, if that makes sense. Allentown was about 120,000 population, near Philly, near New York. and our paper was local, printed in Allentown, and we had about 70 or 80 customers. And during collection time, the kids go around, you knock on the door, you collect. It was like $2.60 every 2 weeks. You had that little punch card they put on the windowsill inside their house. I'm walking around Allentown with a little vinyl pouch, my change thing on my waist, with about $120-150 back in 1973.
So you weren't robbed.
Well, exactly. Yeah, never had any problem. We never had any problem.
Yeah.
But,
I used to in these little message rooms and whatever. Like a place I'd like to go visit is Bon Air, and back in the day when I was going there every year, I was checking that thing because it lots of news and there are all sorts of cool stuff there. They also had underwater cameras on it. So I was checking it, and there was a guy named Michael, first name Michael, I forgot his last name, but he was an American. He had moved to Bon Air. And the only thing, when people say, hey, is there anything I can bring you this year? You know what? He always requested the Washington Post and the New York Times.
Yeah.
So in Atlanta, because I always either went through Atlanta or Miami when I left this area.
Yeah, right.
Depends upon what flight I took. And I would stop and grab one of each inside the airport.
Yeah, the AJC or the Miami Herald.
Yeah. It was just one of those things.
Yeah. Well,
newspapers were important.
Yeah. They were, because when you stayed at a hotel, what was sitting outside your door in the morning?
USA Today.
Yeah.
Yeah. You talk about airports and all that, and my grandfather, he retired as an auto mechanic in 1964, and he started going around his neighborhood picking up papers on garbage night for recycling. I mean, he was green before it was green. Right. He just did it as a pastime. But my grandmother's brother, so he did a part-time job at ABE Airport, Allentown Bethlehem Easton Airport. And they had service by Allegheny Airlines, which is Pittsburgh mainly, United Airlines, which was Chicago, and Eastern, which was Miami. So they would the last flights would come into Allentown, those three carriers, and he would clean the cabins. And with that, he would pick it in, because everybody that flew read a newspaper. So he'd come to my grandfather's house with a stack of papers, and it was so cool because not only were the papers were from the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette, the Chicago Tribune, and the Miami Herald, but people connected in those cities from elsewhere. So you're getting Detroit Free Press. I mean, I'm a little kid reading these papers, not foreign, but they're from out of the state.
I was foreign.
It was pretty cool, to read different newspapers from around the country, because
there were no internet yet.
Everybody read the newspaper. And I was talking with a good friend of mine, Don Wilson. He was the circulation director CD at the Daily News, and they write out a list of customers on their route, much like a postal carrier knows where their route is and how it goes. He graduated college. He went to UNC Greensboro, and this is back, and I think he graduated like in '77, something like that. And the way they would write the route is not who got the paper on that block, but who didn't, because it was like one knucklehead that didn't get the paper. So like in your neighborhood on Marion Place, you'd say everybody gets it except that guy has the big tomato. Yeah.
Believe it or not, when we were here to take care of my mom, she had her delivery here, but we had ours rerouted to here. So we got two papers.
Yeah.
She had her own.
They probably confused the carrier for a couple of days at first.
About 2 days. Yeah.
Right,
anyway, he got the message.
Yeah. So that's true. And when I go back home, I was going back home a lot last year, caring for my mother, and I would walk the old paper route. I mean, you never forget that. I mean, Chris, I don't know if you still dream about it, and I know I do. It's like I'm at the end of the route, and I don't have anything left to deliver, and you're delivering, weird stuff in your dreams to these houses. But I went back to the old neighborhood, and it's like, and everybody got I'm looking at the houses, and I know who was there. Helen Spooner lived at 1820 Pennsylvania Street. I drop 5:30 in the morning. Her door's open, and I drop it in her living room. She's there. Thank you, Michael. And I leave. It's like trust. It's like here's your paper, Helen.
That's like the days of the old mail guy. I mean, the old milkman.
Right.
Well, yeah.
Saturday at the ham meeting, I talked to two gentlemen, and we got talking. And I realized I used to deliver their mail, and I was able to give them their old mail address.
Oh my!
Yeah, that
you
was
were stalking them. Yeah. You're still stalking them.
That was back in the late back in the 90s. Yeah. 1991.
Well, things have changed. A lot has changed. A lot has not changed. We still got crime. And at the Daily News, you were one of those guys that you sold stuff.
Yeah. occasionally.
Yeah,
Occasionally.
you sold advertising, so that was cool.
Yeah.
But you also you did a lot of reporting.
Yeah.
And
commentary.
And commentary, but you also did a lot of assisting some new people when they come on board while you were still selling things.
Yeah.
You had contact.
Yeah.
And
It was a great environment
Yeah.
because, the wall between the newsroom and the business side. I mean, I kind of walked through it,
Yeah, because normally that
I
doesn't
brought
happen.
value, I thought, I wasn't biased. I like a good story, and I heard stuff, and, as big as the staff was for a small paper, there were still areas where, you couldn't be everywhere all the time.
Of course not.
So you go to a social gathering, you go to a business gathering, your chamber event, whatever. People talk to you because, they're talking to you because you represent the newspaper.
Mm-hmm.
It's not so much we really love this guy. I mean, they did like me, I guess, but it's because of what you can do.
Sure.
You can amplify their message, however that is, whether it's paid advertising or a story.
Yeah.
People love a story written about them, so long as it's favorable, but nonetheless, so I would bring that back to, the powers that be, either with Elliot, the publisher, or Cindy Brown, the editor, whatever. So
I have a listener that wants me to ask you about your days as a sports reporter during football games.
That was fun. It was, people would say, "Oh, you get to go to the games and watch them." And Chris, you can appreciate this. You do PA. You kind of get a flavor for the game, but you're just kind of worried about keeping everything. You get the kid's name right, his number right, the yards.
Pronounce his name right.
So I'd have it all prepared,
Wow.
prepared for the game. And you can prepare and write things that are going to happen regardless of the outcome of the game, like who the teams are going to play next week and who they've played in the previous game. So you have a little bit of that, but. So you watch the game starts, and you have your stat sheet there, and it's all going fine, and then flag into play, and now you're doing math. I was like, I didn't sign up to do math because the flag is here and it's 10 yards back, so I'm scrambling around, and we had to keep statistics and get the story, in your mind written. So you're doing stats while the game's going on. Game's over, race down to the field, get a quote from the coaches. Now it's about 9:30. And deadline was about 11 o'clock. Mm-hmm. So I was normally tasked with, rarely did they send me this way into Jacksonville, though I think I probably did, but mainly it was Swansboro, Croatan, and God forbid, East Carteret, because that's like way down. That's way down. I've filed my reports from a McDonald's in Beaufort. That's because it was too far to drive back home. Mm-hmm. So like the Croatan and the Swansboro, I live like a couple minutes from the school. Croatan's about a 15, 20-minute ride. So you're racing back. It's 9:45. You get back to your house at 10:30, bust into the house. Your wife says, "How was the game?" It's like, "Don't talk to me." And you're starting to write the story, and the phone's ringing. It's either Rick Scuppy or Chris Miller. "How's it going? Do you have it? Do you have it? Do you have it?" Like, give me 10 minutes, and and then you just hope that the power stays on, the dog doesn't hit the button, and everything's gone in your race.
And you're
constantly saving. You finally hit send, and then you send it to, then you send it off to the boys back at the office. And, I had the easy part because I'm done at 11:30.
Just listening.
It was, but here's the neat thing though, Lee. You would file it at 11:30 or so, thereabouts, and you're still wired, so you're up for about another hour or so. Those poor guys were up to like 2-3 in the morning because they're doing advance for Sunday's paper. This is going to come out on Saturday. Mm-hmm. So you finally crash, you go to bed around 12:30, you get up around 6 o'clock when the paper was home delivered. There it is on the driveway. Open it up. There's your story. That's pretty cool.
That is cool.
That was pretty cool. I mean, and those guys, when we were covering, I think not we, but I was a quote unquote a stringer. So they had several other people such as myself, but the main sports writers, Chris and Rick, I think at the time, they were covering 10 or 11 schools, which is incredible. From East Duplin, to East Carteret.
You know how you came to be known as stringers?
No,
you don't.
I don't. That was.
Back in the day, because every newspaper had stringers, freelancers out there doing things. They got paid by what they call the column inch. You got each column is a certain length, and there's 4 inches on one column and 3 inches on the second column. You got 7 column inches. Well, the way these guys would do this, every freelancer, they would take a piece of string and they tie a knot in each length of the string for each day. At the end of the month, they send that piece of string in, and it was measured.
Oh, okay.
And they were paid a quarter per column inch or 10 cents, whatever it was.
Yeah.
That's the way they used to pay these guys.
Yeah, the newspaper for editorial or news was 6 columns, right?
Yeah.
So the column inch that you referred to, and people like, what? It sounds like hieroglyphics or really advanced math. You measure the number of columns. So if the story is covering 2 columns, that's 2, and if it's 10 inches deep, it's a 20-inch story.
Yep.
I think there's a neat scene in the movie All the President's Men, where all the editors are sitting around the table and they're doing what's called a budget meeting. And a budget meeting is held usually once a day,
It
maybe
has
twice.
nothing to do with dollars.
It has nothing
per
to do with
se.
money because it's a newsroom, so they don't know anything about dollars and cents. So they're sitting around a table and they're talking. It's all about Watergate, but they have international, they have the foreign desk, the national desk, the city desk, sports, and editorial, and they're going around the table and they're trying to pitch their story, and he's there, the one guy says, Ben, I think this is a time we could talk about home rule in DC, because they've been talking about home rule forever in the 60s and early 70s, because the feds ran city government. So he's there, when they have home rule, then we'll run the story on home rule. What do you got national? And they go, Bernstein and Woodward and Bernstein are really cracking the water. Yeah, they didn't want to, they were stuck with that story.
Yeah.
So Bradley has his little notepad. He's all right. International, you get 20 inches. Foreign, you get 10. City, you get 6. And that's it. They all
It's
leave.
the same thing in broadcast. You sit around, okay, you got a story on yada, 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 yada. You got a minute 15 you got for your story. Story, minute 15. And the guy comes back and he said, listen, I got a lot of stuff on this story. I need 2.5 minutes. I said, not going to happen. Not on TV. No. What you got? And he said, I said, let me tell you what I can do, because I came up through the ranks, right? As the news director, I overruled everybody else in the newsroom, obviously, and pretty much everywhere else too. But anyway, when it came to news, it was all news. I said, I can give you the second coming of Christ, complete with video, in 1 minute and 10 seconds. What do you have that will beat that story? And then you'll get more.
So who on the daily broadcast, who was this got the most time? Was it the weather guy, the sports guy, or the person out in the field?
If weather was news,
like we just had big snowstorms.
Yes, you're going to have news people doing weather stories, weather related stories. Weather leads if I used to say if it bleeds, it leads, right? But if weather leads, if there's anything really major happening. And as luck would have it, in Eastern North Carolina, we had this H word out there. We built up to it. We talked about it in advance. And, we all learned to love it to death.
So you send that person out to the beach, do the stand-up out there,
well,
right?
Tie him to the pier.
Or the people boarding up windows.
To the Weather Bureau.
Tie him to the pier.
But we got, I just sent them out on a boat and say, good luck. But the news we get, except Friday at 11 o'clock, news would get the majority. News itself would get the majority. Out of that entire 30 minutes that you got sports, weather, commercials.
Yeah,
more commercials.
Yeah, about 22 minutes probably, right?
I have news.
Yeah, I mean total
time.
8 commercials, 22 broadcasts.
And then, of course, they Happy Days talks when they want you to talk it up, happy chatter. No, I don't have that much
banter.
Yeah, I call it happy talk. And I said, we're not going to do that. Mike, what you got tonight? Mike, I understand there's a pretty big mess down there in the Southwest community. Somebody's dead, right? That was the happy talk that I would allow. Yeah. That was it. Yeah. Get to it, get on it. Otherwise, you got to cut time out of what the story deserves.
I'll tell you a real pro that I love watching, and she grew up here, C.B. Cotton.
Yeah.
Jacksonville High School and UNC Chapel Hill, and her father and her parents still live back here. But watching her grow through her broadcast here at ITN, and then she went on to Nashville and I think Colorado, and now she's on New York City. That's amazing. And she comes on most every day, and there she is, C.B. Cotton, and she's a pro. She's got it. She's got it. She'll be on the curvy couch one day, I think, up there in New York City.
Yeah, that's stooped to that level, right?
Huh?
Stooping to that level.
Yeah, well, she's doing it. She's doing it. So.
Yeah. Okay. Now, and I'm leading up to this for a reason too, because you had written something I don't know where you posted. Did you post it there?
Well, it was published. It was in the title.
Yes.
I knew somebody was reading it to me.
Me.
I started this segment. We don't do news, but we unfortunately have to cover events that are newsworthy. Then we react to news. That's what our job here is. But sometimes news is going to be leading whatever we do, and then we can make commentaries or do whatever I want to out of it. This story out of that's been going on now for 13 days out of Arizona.
Yep.
From the get-go, it was going to lead. There's no doubt. And every newscast that came on the air or nationwide, it was going to be the lead story. And you look at every one of them right now today, it's moved down. It's not leading every newscast anymore.
No. We're talking about government shutdowns or partial shutdowns. It's there. It's
one of the top. Once today's lead is going to be replaced by tomorrow's leads, and then things will end up on page 13 in newspaper terminology.
Yeah.
But that's the way things work. And a story like this one, obviously, it had a news peg by every news person in the country when they were thinking about it, because it involved the mother of a very well-known news person from the Today Show. But that's not really the reason that it led to, because y'all remember the kid that falls down the well?
Yeah.
That was a nobody. Parents were nobodies, so to speak.
Yeah.
It had the same kind of coverage. For days on end, they had news crews coming from all over the country stationed there until it was a baby Jessica or whoever.
Yeah.
And they covered that thing too.
Yep.
To the bitter end, until the end. It wasn't bitter end. But, there are stories that are meant to lead. 84-year-old woman, questions arise. Living alone with health issues, possibly kidnapped, likely kidnapped, an obvious crime scene. These are some of the comments that local media, local law enforcement, local neighbors were all talking about. And those are the kinds of descriptions that kept coming out of there. We don't know. We don't know. We just know what the sheriff said. And then the FBI gets involved, which was really suspicious, strange to me that it took a couple of days before they got the big call and dispatched. They were there. There were agents already there.
Yeah.
But then how many times have we heard, probably me more than you, definitely more than you, because I'm older and I've been there. Here comes the FBI. God, they're here. They're going to take all. We've done all the work, and we're going to give it all to them. Now they're going to take all the credit when they solve it. How many times you heard that one?
A few times locally. I go back to the Mariah Woods case.
Yeah, and even before that.
And they arrived on the scene rather quickly in that 5 or 6 day search.
You were very involved in writing
from the get go.
Yes.
Yeah.
Very involved.
There are cases before that. There have been cases since then. There are going to be cases in the future. But and then because the FBI would always get, they came in with their 3-piece suits or whatever.
Sure.
That's what the people used to say, that they didn't know Dave Manco came in with a cowboy hat and cowboy boots.
Yeah.
So, those stereotypical descriptions weren't always true.
Right. Well, and around here too, Rayford, not only FBI, but because we have so many military installations, you have NCIS.
Yeah.
So who takes lead on those when something happens with a military personnel outside the gate? NCIS there, so is whatever jurisdiction, whether it's county
and
or
NCIS is not limited to even just military personnel or situations.
Yeah.
They can arrest civilians too.
Yeah.
They participate in drug operations here.
All the time.
Drug raids all the time. They're called in. They're all part of it. We're lucky here in Onslow County these days because everybody seems to work together a whole lot better. I think they did at one time. The sheriff and the police chief, way back when, they used to fight. They didn't even like each other.
Yeah. Yeah. We don't see that, Chris.
No,
that's not the way it is anymore.
There's a good partnership between all law enforcement.
Yeah.
In Onslow County, including SBI.
Yeah.
And all the local police and sheriffs.
Now, the Nancy Guthrie case is taking a run down the ladder from the top, of course, because there's other national stories that are breaking, international stories that are breaking. But today's story for us, this young Marine that fell overboard down there in the Caribbean off the Iwo Jima.
Yeah.
They declared him dead now. So, I mean, for this community, that's pretty dang important.
It's a big story.
So to me, that was out there.
Yeah.
The other one that was very important to me is the idiot over in Teachee, of all little places, you know where it is, in Duplin County, who threatened publicly to kill the Superior Court Judge Henry Stevens and the sheriff and others. That's pretty healthy.
Yeah.
It's pretty stupid.
Stupid is or stupid does, but he's good luck.
Well, in recent, just a few days ago, the two twins, the 7-year-olds in Richlands,
20-year-old kids
that drowned. That's
I
awful.
mean, that was like
That's awful.
just a tragic situation.
Yeah.
And we can harp on it every time it snows or every time some water freezes over. We don't have any ice skating rinks that freeze over here on our rivers or lakes or ponds. Period.
So, all those topics and stories you mentioned, I mean, especially to those that it affects directly, that's the top story.
It is.
Every day it's a top story. Yet this Guthrie case has remained up there, top of mind.
Still up there because
it's got legs.
For me, for you, perhaps for you, and likely you, we can relate.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
my mom lived here alone.
Yeah.
It looked like the house was about the same size as the one out there in Arizona.
Yeah. The search, there was the gentleman who's the publisher of TMZ. I forget his Levine, his name, whatever. He drew this radius of, given the fact that they said they could drive back to Tucson in this amount of time, they did this radius, and Christ, the circle went down to Mexico, practically up to Idaho, over to Kansas. When you look at crime that's occurred around here, and that's all I can, talk about firsthand. And I go back to a case that happened down in the Sneads Ferry area around like 2008, 2009. It was Holly Wimmick. She was a Army officer in Fayetteville, and she had a relationship with an enlisted Marine in Jacksonville. I think his name was Alden, Alden. And he murdered her in her place of residence in Fayetteville, dismembered her, and burned her in the tub of her home, brought her burnt body back to Onslow County, and partially buried her in a field off Folkestone Road. He lived within a half mile of that site. And we always found that, it seemed though, that when murders occurred, you're looking at this big search, but oftentimes it's like practically next door or in their neighborhood, they
go to their comfort zone,
or what they know, despite the fact that we have this vast ocean, not far from us, but, it takes means to get out to the water. But it's like right in their backyard. Yeah. I have a feeling when this whole Guthrie case is solved, it's not going to be far from home, whether or not she's alive or she's dead.
Well, first of all, the further away you get from this crime, and you see law guys who are all familiar with it, all over the country right now, if they see something that's really suspicious, the first thing they're going to pop up if you're from, let's just say if some dude drives through Richlands. And he's got some Arizona plates on his car.
Yeah.
And he's kind of oh God, he looks like did you see the gloves he's wearing?
I'm calling the cops.
Or the old lady that's in the back seat.
Yeah.
Chris has got a black backpack.
Yeah.
And then people who do spot the little lady in the back seat. Okay, wait a minute. This just doesn't feel right. They're going to get stopped.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For when was it? In the year 2000, I believe it was, or 2001, the DC sniper. It was John Malvo was the young man, and John Mohammed was the leader. He was he was former Army, I believe. They were terrorizing from Montgomery County, Maryland, all the way down to practically Ashland, Virginia.
The back of a van.
Yeah, well, it was a car.
Was it a car?
Yeah, and the young man sat in the trunk, and they had a hole.
That's what it was.
And there would be a shooting, a murder, and they were looking for a white van. That's why they were looking for the wrong vehicle.
It was reported.
So they did it near high trafficked roads, interstates like 95. They shot somebody outside of a Lone Star restaurant in Ashland.
Million cars.
They were captured by a highway patrol in Maryland, in Western Maryland, at a rest stop. They were sleeping in their car. They were sleeping in their car. So they looked suspicious. Yeah. And when the trooper rolled up on them, he realized that, that they gave fake names at first. Boom, we got it, and lo and behold, look, there's the trunk, and it had a hole cut out of it for the gun to go through.
Yep.
Yeah. So it cases like what we're seeing with Guth, I think, the FBI is going to be doing all kinds of forensic analysis. They're doing it right now. That's how they got the camera. They somehow they retrieved
if they have all the stuff.
Yeah. But I think it may come down to, somebody knows that individual,
and 15,000 tips once the pictures were released.
I don't believe the ransom notes. I don't believe those.
Yeah.
And I think you're right. She's going to be found very close by.
Close by.
I'm going to be interested in the real motive.
Yes.
Before it's over with.
Yeah. Well, I think that's what's keeping the story alive is the people are hooked on these true crime stories and true crime channels. You watch, and you're pointing toward Lee. A lot. It's probably
I just started a new one.
If you looked at the demographics of that channel, Oxygen, whatever, it's probably heavily weighted female demographic.
She's got 12 TV sets that are running simultaneously.
She's
got more TV sets than I've seen up at the CIA.
I have one on wheels that I can wheel it from room to room, so I don't miss anything.
So on Fox, whether you guys watch Fox or not, I don't know, but I watch it, and they've been bringing Nancy Grace on.
Oh yeah, and
she's over the top dramatic, and it's funny because I did several over the phone interviews with her during Mariah Woods and thereafter. So the way they do it is they have me call in. I think she was Atlanta based, right? So I call in, and I call the producer. So let's just say it's Chris Marks. So hi, Chris, this is Mike. Hey, Mike, listen, Nancy's going to come on. And so we want you to talk about, when you were first on the scene and who you saw. And then she's going to go back, and she's going to sound very excited about, what you just said. So she comes on, she's there. Hi, Mike, this is Nancy. Okay, we're going to talk about Mariah Woods. Now tell me again, you were with who? I said, the Jacksonville Daily News. I was a reporter on the scene. Okay, very good. Okay, we're going to go live. 3, 2, 1. You will not believe who we have here today. Mike McHugh was first on the scene at the Mariah Woods case. Mike, tell us what you saw. Well, I got out there and I saw the helicopters were in the sky above the tree line behind the house, and the sheriff, Hans Miller, was in the street doing a stand-up interview. Hold on a second. That doesn't sound too exciting. Guys, let's do that from the top again, okay? Okay, 3, 2, 1. Then she goes into it. They're like, over the.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So then they chop it up, and and when you hear it, like I'm on there for like 3 seconds, and she's on there for the blah blah blah, the whole time, just excited, and and I said, I looked at the search warrants, and we pulled the records for what they discovered inside the home, of Mr. Kimrick, and they were in covered suits, and they were spending a lot of time under the house, and then
they had hazmat people in there.
They had hazmat.
And they were recovering stuff in here, and they treated it like it was radioactive. Right. And
there was like 5 gallon. There were 3 5-gallon bleach bottles, which part of that is if you read about the precursor to meth, it had a lot of the ingredients and the elements. So you're saying they're cooking meth. So she went into this whole riff. It was fun, but she's very. What you see on TV isn't necessarily the same persona, when she's off air.
Oh, we've seen her quite a bit on TV recently with the story, and we're just like going, stop.
Very dramatic. Yeah.
Anyway, now you and I have been on a couple of things together, as it turned out, and I wasn't there really as news. I was just there because I wanted to be there. It was from this neighborhood for one thing, but it was kind of
the home invasion here.
Yeah, right
down the street.
Yeah. So I went there and sat in on the news conference, and I had a couple of questions I had to ask, and it was like, because I'll never forget Lindell. he said, "Oh my God."
Yeah.
Why did I think of that?
Yeah.
Because you don't think like a bad guy.
Right. So 2 bad guys
or a cop.
Two bad guys broke into a house in your right.
Nobody was home.
Around the corner, Country Club Road, right? Around the curve, right? And then the 3 individuals who lived there Was it 3?
There were 2 who lived there. The dad of one of the guys, he'd come down. There were 2 Marines that were there sharing the house, and they had gone out for
to
the
Emerald
evening.
Isle.
Yep. And they came home, and they met a couple of guys on the inside.
Yeah, they noticed the back door was the screen.
And one of those guys had one of the Marines shotgun.
That's right. Yeah,
because they didn't go there armed.
Yeah, so
it wasn't a home invasion. They went to do a burglary.
Right. They were dropped off. And they picked that house wrong. And so when the Marines came home, they were basically forced onto the ground or into the floor in the bedroom until the gentleman had the shotgun on the Marine, pulled it, and it didn't fire. Well, but the Marine grabbed the
Marine looked at it and said, he doesn't know what he's doing.
Grabbed the gun from him and
then he eliminated both of them.
Yeah, used it on him. The other one got crashed with a wine bottle. Remember that?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but both bad guys dead at the scene.
Some good wine,
Yeah.
Well, Mike, getting back to our story about Miss Guthrie in Arizona, we also right here in our vicinity have a missing 84-year-old woman, and you wrote a really nice article about that. She's still missing, right?
Yeah, she's been missing. She's been missing since around Halloween.
So what are the circumstances? What do we know about the circumstances?
The circumstances are very weird. The woman's name is Katie Hyatt. She lives in the municipality of Swansboro on Clancy Street, which is off Old Hammock Road, in a single family home by herself. She's 84 years old. Mm-hmm. She has health issues. Mm-hmm. She's a retired school teacher. Mm-hmm. She had caretakers, a husband and wife. Their names are Angle. The last name is Angle. And
living with her.
Yeah. In home, living with her. Her son lives in Greensboro, I believe. He lost the ability to communicate with his mother by phone because the caregivers would not let him talk to his mother, which is odd. Okay, we've all had mothers.
It would have been odd.
Yeah, it is. That was. And again, not to interject myself into the story, but my mother we had a person sit with my mother for a few hours each day. Year before last. Mm-hmm. Okay. And if something like that had occurred, you'd be in the car going up to Allentown to figure out what's going on. Oh, sure. In fact, I had an incident very similar to that on September 16th of 2024 when my mom fell leaving the house. She didn't know where she was going. She fell and was, so she went to the hospital, but she was a missing person for a few hours. Wow. You get in the car and you start driving up there to find mom. Right. Okay. So same here. That didn't happen. The Angela Angle is her name. She got involved in law enforcement, and that's not the way. She got arrested for shoplifting at Walmart, misdemeanor larceny of like $200 of household items, sometime in the fall. So she was
caregiver,
right? Yeah. So she has a court date in Onslow County District Court. Twice failure to appear. Mm-hmm.
So they're outstanding warrants for her.
Yeah. So they don't have her now. Mm-hmm. She on the warrant, on her warrant, she lists an address in West Virginia. Mm-hmm. When the law enforcement was talking to the Angles while they were still here, they said that, oh no, Katie left for West Virginia. Then they changed the story. She went to Ohio. She's bedridden, more or less. She doesn't drive. Although,
how did she get there?
Right. Although in the driveway of her home is two vehicles that haven't been driven since probably Bush was president, and there's this RV that you'd see like in Breaking Bad, with the back end of it literally cracked vertically from the top of the roof to the bottom. The door in which you would enter the RV is gone, so it's like animals can get in there. It's that open. The property itself is just overgrown with shrubbery. I mean, not shrubbery, but foliage. It's horrible. She's missing. They can't find her.
And they're missing.
I talked to the police chief, Dwayne Taylor, on Wednesday, and he said to me in so many words, and I didn't have a chance to talk to him, going back into a budget meeting, but he's there. I said, so where's Katie? And he said, I wish I could find him, meaning the Mr. Angle, because I could get a warrant. I could get a warrant out of him, but I can't locate him. I think he's in Florida. So, when they went searching in the house back in, it was I guess February, early February, late January, early February, there was a lot of law enforcement presence at that house on that afternoon. Swansboro PD, Onslow County Sheriff's Office, SBI, and they had it taped off. But they discovered inside the house and on the bed itself was what appeared to be bloodstains. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean somebody was, stabbed, bludgeoned, or whatnot. Sure. Again, going back to older people, my mother, I can use as an example. They have thin skin. My mother took medication for, blood thinners and whatnot. Sometimes you just touched her hand and, it could open up a cut.
I know that.
So, that in and of itself doesn't necessarily mean, something, bad happened inside that house. Regardless, they can't find Katie. And what I thought was the parallels were so great. You have a woman living by herself, Katie, here in Swansboro. You have a woman living by herself, Miss Guthrie, Nancy Guthrie, in Arizona, 84 years of age, each have their own different medical issues, and both are, quote unquote, missing. Wow. One, like we said earlier in the show, is the mother of a prominent news broadcaster. Katie is a retired school teacher in Swansboro, but the piece I wrote, I just wrote it on my own Facebook page just to kind of get the thoughts out. And then some people in the community said, you should send this to the Tideland News. So given that it wasn't a quote unquote news story, it was a commentary, it was an opinion piece, just like I would do at the Daily News. I sent it to Jimmy Williams. And as you know, in the newspaper business, the writer of the story does not write the headline.
That's right.
So the headline in this it's a letter to the editor. It says response divided. Okay, that's really going to grab a reader. My headline was the privilege of celebrity was the headline. Yeah,
that's what caught me.
And I thought that's what catches the reader's eye, because no disparaging, not to disparage the Guthrie family for what they're going through. And you hope that in both cases there's a quote unquote happy ending. But as time goes on, even in both cases, but particularly specifically the Hyatt case here, I don't, a happy ending might be finding the remains so the family can have closure.
Closure. Let me just back up. I saw a missing persons post on, I don't know, one of the outlets, wherever, a missing person.
Yeah.
It was listed as a missing person. 84-year-old lady is missing from her home.
Right.
There was no crime related anything involved with that. Right.
Right.
Now I go to Arizona, day one. Sheriff goes in. We've had some blood droppings here, there, and it's a crime scene. It looks like she was abducted. The sheriff did this day one, Sunday. And it escalated from there. And then all of a sudden there is a ransom. And then there's a second ransom. Then FBI, of course, is involved. And then we find a little piece of evidence. We find this other piece of evidence. We find doorbell camera. We find this. We finally get the doorbell camera video. We get this. The doorbell was broken off. Oh, there's prima facie evidence.
And don't forget too, you missed one element too of that early in the case. It was a crime scene, and then they lifted the tape. And then you guys go in, the reporters go into the crime scene, right? And of course you're going to, right?
I'm going to do even more than that. Go ahead. Yes, you're absolutely right. Of course. And the sheriff,
as soon as that tape goes up, you're going to be walking around.
Blew that one.
Right.
Yeah.
He's blown it again.
Yeah.
As we've learned yesterday.
Yes.
His deputies found a glove
inside the
house.
Yes.
Yeah.
During one of the searches. I don't know how many searches they did, but they researched the place.
Yeah.
Again.
Yeah.
And they put the crime scene tape back up. They had taken it down on Sunday after they went in the first time. No. If this is a crime scene, we have a crime and we have a missing person. This is a crime scene forever until we get something else done.
Yeah. So if they were to get a suspect charged and the charges relate to the disappearance, the death, or whatever, or disposing of a body, let's go to the courtroom. And let's talk about the courtroom. This is where you're going to have to get Ernie Lee's opinion on this. But isn't there such a thing as chain of custody of a crime scene, which has been broken, right?
Right.
Well, not only that, yes.
And
the defense attorney is going to say, well, you found this glove inside there. Who put it there?
Yeah.
You didn't find it the first time you were in there?
Right.
And then you lift
So
it.
how did you get it? But did one of the deputies find it later, bring it back, or had they found it? Did they have it? How did this glove get back into the house?
The whole crime scene.
Let's go back to 1991. Was it in Los Angeles? And there was a little trial dealing with if the glove don't fit, you got to quit.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Well, last night it was reported that the glove that you're talking about, that the sheriff did not turn it over to the FBI. He sent it down to Florida.
He sent it to a private lab.
This is funny too, because I think
Holy crap.
if Chris was involved in this conversation, we had a crime stoppers meeting yesterday, and a lot of the things that happen at Crime Stoppers meetings stay at the meeting, right? Yep. But I think this was telling, because we were talking about this case with a lot of our members are former law enforcement, and I won't use the gentleman's name, but I think what came out of the Arizona, one of the press conferences or statements by the sheriff down there is law enforcement or deputies don't wear that type of glove, right?
Right.
Type of glove.
They were blue.
Our people up here who have been in sheriff's offices said, "Oh, they wear those gloves." That's So you got to take
the evidence, whatever they found, and did not bag and tag. If they didn't do any of that, do it properly. Can't be considered evidence anymore. It's debris.
Yeah.
It will never be introduced.
But they have
evidence.
to treat everything just as it could be the missing link.
Well, it should have been done in the very beginning.
Yeah. Just think of the mountain of evidence stuff that they have, tagged and bagged, as you said.
Since after they had cleared the crime scene, it's hard to reopen a crime scene when it wasn't secured after the crime.
And who's to say, well, somebody planted that item
and then tagged. The other one, and then another glove shows up outside a mile down the road.
Yeah,
if it's related. Yeah,
the whole
thing's contaminated.
They showed. I think the New York Post took a picture of that glove on the side of the road as the
right.
Yeah, it was a pretty clean roadway, and then all of a sudden, boom! There's this glove.
Well, there's a windy area, and it looked like it got caught by a tumbleweed. To be honest with you.
Well, here, Mike. It was just Carolyn Levitt did an interview this morning on Fox and Friends, and she was detailing how the Trump administration is assisting in the Nancy Guthrie investigation. What can we do to get them to assist in the Hyatt investigation?
Yeah.
Good luck.
Right.
Yeah.
Well,
when I read your story,
the problem with the whole situation in Swansboro, it was never investigated as a crime scene, right?
Right. Well, no.
They always go through it and look at it as a missing person, but all you've got is information that it's a missing person.
Yeah. Well, it was secured for a time, and they did. I mean, they were looking.
You now got a missing person, and that's all you've got.
And it was a mess too.
And the whole thing about a missing person is you have the right to disappear.
Yeah.
Well, not if you're an 84-year-old woman with health issues and you were immobile.
If you do it yourself, you have a right to disappear.
She's going to do it herself. Get on her bicycle.
I can hire Jose Gonzalez if you want to pay him to take me to some other location and set me up.
We know what happened.
Except that's a hard premise to accept because of her condition.
I know that.
But you're right. I mean, if she's living and breathing and
the law is concerned,
yeah.
She has the right to disappear.
Has anybody contacted Social Security or any of those and told them to hold all her checks?
You would hope that if they're searching for her, that would be one thing you would look at, the money trail, right? Given the fact that the one caregiver went to Walmart allegedly and shoplifted, allegedly more than $200 worth of household items. That's what it said in there. The other thing I'd be curious about is if the son was unable to speak with his mother, meaning that he used his cell phone to talk to the caregivers. Hey, can I talk to my mother? Right. And they denied that. Well, he has their phone number. Now, you would think if they're a person or people of interest, and you get
call his mother's cell phone.
Pull the cell records.
Yeah, pull the cell phone records.
I would do that anyway.
Yeah, exactly. So get a warrant for that.
Absolutely.
And again, you go back to cases around here. A lot of cases, not that they were necessarily solved by that, but the person was convicted because of that. The cell phone. this phone I have sitting in front of me
as evidence
is evident. I mean, right now, if we were to go, back and say, where was Mike on, Friday the 13th? Chris Kadekophobia. He was in Jacksonville, at 7:30 in the morning, and he came from Swansea.
At Rayford's house.
It's Rayford's house, yeah. So I mean, it's the trail is there, and same goes for cell phones being used out around Guthrie's house on that particular evening or morning of her disappearance. Yeah, it's a lot of data to go through, but it's there. It's just it's the needle in the haystack.
Well, and let me say what my concern is, and it has been, and Mike's article and your title versus what Jimmy or whoever changed the title of the article to is the celebrity status. Mm-hmm. And it's not just this case. There's a lot of cases, unless there is a peg, right? The one that happened at Camp Lejeune years and years ago, 20, 30 years ago, over in the apartment area, Berkeley Manor, that made national news. Mm-hmm. But things like this, no matter what you do and try to get national news to jump on it, it doesn't do it. But to me, it's always been, how do they pick out the ones that are curious? Or NBC, for example, is doing this thing called on health, and they're going and saying, well, we went and we called the insurance company, and next thing you know, boom, that it's been done. But it's always in the big cities.
Whenever you find, let's do the health. Let's just say you got a TV station, and their anchor has got a health issue. The female anchor has breast cancer. Do you not think that thing is going to be loaded with stories about breast cancer, a breast cancer awareness?
Locally?
Anywhere there's a TV station and one of the anchors, female anchor, has a serious disease. If you don't think that's going to be followed up, do you think it would be followed up if it was somebody else out here? No, because there's somebody else out here all the time. But they won't jump it like that.
It's probably Chris Miller.
Is it Miller time?
Charlie. I'm sending your story to Nancy Grace. Get ready for a
Yeah.
This is Mike McHugh.
Sometimes that's what it takes,
Mike, this is Nancy.
Mike, this is Charlie. Hey, Charlie.
Hey, Charlie.
Hey, Charlie.
I like how you guys just assume it's me.
Because you're the only one that calls with an anonymous number.
Okay, listen. Savannah Guthrie, her mother, Nancy, nobody would ever want their mother to be in this situation. Their child, their grandmother, their granddaughter, their grandson. It's just a horrible situation. But this I was researching how much hatred Savannah Guthrie had towards Donald Trump. She's a reporter, right? Isn't a reporter someone that is biased, where they only present the facts?
I don't
hated Donald Trump.
Charlie,
this is Chris. Two veteran journalists in here.
Yeah. Let me say this.
There's bias everywhere.
I don't consider her a reporter. I would consider her a
paid
she's a host of a morning television news show. She's a host. She doesn't do the stories.
Yeah,
I'm not watching, but who's the gentleman talking right now?
It's Chris.
The other Chris.
All right, Chris.
Well, no. You're talking about.
You're talking about our guest?
Our guest today?
Yeah. Who's your
Mike.
guest?
That's me, Mike.
His name is Mike. He's
Mike doesn't know who I am, so that's fine.
Former reporter. He's a former reporter for the Jacksonville Daily News. He's
executive director of the Swansboro Chamber of Commerce,
one of the towns here in Onslow County. So, he's been around the block a couple of times.
Hey, you guys want to know what's something interesting about me that you guys probably don't know? I actually used to write for the Los Angeles Times.
Oh, wow.
Well, maybe another time we'll talk about this. None of these reporters, they're basically just entertainers. But I think it's really nice that Donald Trump, Savannah Guthrie, this absolutely biased reporter that was basically attacked Trump at every angle. Now that Trump is basically, he said, listen, we want to help you. We want to figure out what's going on with your mother. We want to try to rescue her. Now they like Trump for this little short period. It's that the mother also was very anti-Trump. She said some very disturbing things about him. But it's funny now they want to save this woman. But what's even worse, there's so many other individuals that have been kidnapped and they're in similar situations. There's nobody's talking about them. All the focus right now is on getting this wonderful woman back home safe. So my point is, you hate the guy, but now we want to help you and save you, but now you kind of like the guy. So maybe you guys are smarter than me. You can explain it better than me.
All right, Charlie, you've missed all of the shows so far, but up until now, I've been over that a bit with Mike here, and because he in his community, and he's written an article about it for a weekly newspaper in the community where he lives, about a lady who disappeared back in October. She was also 84 years old, had failing health. She wasn't doing well. Lived alone, but she had a couple of caretakers living with her, a husband and wife, or supposedly a husband and wife team living with her. She just disappeared, and then they disappeared after she disappeared, and nobody's on the scene. So they've been looking for her, but it's not been really declared a crime because they don't have any evidence of it being a major crime other than her disappearing. That is not a crime. I can disappear all I want. You can go totally anonymous and disappear all you want until your bills come due, and then they might declare you a criminal when they take out warrants for you, but you understand what I mean. In this case, from day one, from the very get-go at 3:00 in the morning when deputies got into the house or went into the home, it became very apparent to the first deputies on the scene, then to the sheriff. They found some blood droplets outside, I think on the deck or something like that, on the way into or out of the house. They had what they said was a crime scene. I don't know it. I didn't see it. I haven't seen the photos of it. But they had what they declared to be a crime scene. That was not the case with the Swansboro case here with the lady who is just gone.
Yeah.
Just gone. And there are going to be people all over the country. Hell, there have been people who have been declared dead who have turned up later on who just walked away from life. Did you know that?
Hey, I just Googled, what was your name? The Swasberg. I actually want to follow this. What was your name? It's Swasberg.
The town is called Swansboro. It's like the bird, Boro, Swansboro, North Carolina. Okay. And the woman's name, it's a good name. You're a newspaper guy, so
I'm going to try to put the
you'll
link
appreciate
to
this.
story
Her first name is Katie, but it's spelled Katy, and her last name is Hyatt. It's spelled Hiatt. 84 years old.
What's H-I what?
Hiatt.
So there's no publicity about this woman. There's no national outcry about what's going on there.
No. If you go to on a Facebook page of the Swansboro Police Department, they have.
Hey, can I ask you guys a question? I'm driving right now. Can you guys put that link in there? Because I'm going to research this.
Yeah.
And I'm going to do my own little.
I put a link to the story earlier. It's on the YouTube page and it's on our Facebook page also.
All right, I'll check it out.
If I can find a link to the story he wrote.
I see it.
Where are you in California, Charlie?
Yes.
You're still out.
Oh, I'm who knows where I am. I don't know.
Right.
I don't want to be.
You sound like you're right next door. Okay. All right.
Yeah, we
No,
have.
but are you? No. They want this woman to come home. It turns out she's got like a serious medical heart condition where she has to take medication every day, and if she doesn't take it, I guess a horrible thing. She may die. The story is so bizarre.
Yep.
And now they've got some new suspect. I guess he's got like a backpack. I saw something yesterday where he's the suspect is like in somebody's backyard. He's like trying to get into a gate or something. You guys know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, he was around the blue trash cans. Yeah.
It's a bizarre story.
Yeah.
I think that's on
All right, so with that, listen. Hopefully, this woman comes home. It's funny how they hate Trump so much, and basically Trump is saying, "Let's make this a national story. Let's bring this person home." And hopefully, she does come home safely. And when she does come home safely, 6 weeks from now, Savannah Guthrie, the daughter's basically going to say Trump is this and that. He's a horrible monster. He's this and that. These people are out of their effing minds. Anyway, you guys have a great day.
Thanks,
I'm going to
Charlie.
research that story about Swansboro.
Yep.
That's it. Take care. Bye.
Best weekend. Did you say Chris?
Charlie.
It should be Chris Miller calling. I
Is
I can't see the phone.
Well, no.
I don't see him lighting up.
That
There
should
we
be
go.
him right there.
That's him. Ready.
Charlie's loaded for bed at this hour.
Yeah,
Finally
you
awake
couldn't see
on the
number.
13th of February, of Friday. He just got out from sleeping underneath a ladder. The one, the only Chris Miller
Well, he had to jump over that black cat.
to get under the ladder.
Mm-hmm.
He broke a mirror in the process, right?
Good morning, Chris.
Good morning, my friends.
Morning,
Mike,
sir.
how are you doing?
I'm wonderful. Long time no talk. How are you?
Yeah, doing good. Yeah. Always, I tell you what, you have a Chris Marks, our good friend Chris Marks, has a knack for doing the PA public address,
Yep.
and you have a knack for being on the radio or podcast or whatever you want to call it. So
No, thank
we
you.
always enjoy Chris doing the PA, and we always enjoy listening to you, whether it's your Q points on the radio
Yeah,
or
right.
here on the Rayford show.
Well, I've been away for a while. I've been off air for a while, so
Yeah, he's been MIA.
getting back. Yeah,
But, the ankle bracelet has been expanded his territory. He can come here now.
that's right. That's right. So,
Yeah.
how you been?
Yeah, remember it was Mike McHugh that got in trouble with Club Mickey's all those years
Oh
ago.
boy.
Oh,
Jesus.
here we go. That story. Again.
Oh, yeah.
That was a good story.
Let's move off of Chris and move on to
That
Mike's
was a good
stories.
one. Yeah.
What?
Club Mickey's. 258. It was a nightclub.
Okay.
It was a nightclub. I think that's what got my. I was on my first byline, I think, in that, and I described it was a club, and they raided it at night.
While you were
I was in media. We were invited. We were invited with law enforcement to watch. They were serving a temporary restraining order on the club.
a temporary
So we
restraining
all-
order to restrain them from doing what?
That illegal activities in the club.
You don't have to restrain them from that. That's already illegal. Just go in and arrest them
They
for
were
it.
gonna, well, they did, and they shut the place down. But before they did that, we all convened at the Superior Court building around 1:00 in the morning,
Uh-huh.
2:00 in the morning, and all the media was there. When was that, Chris? Like 07, 08, somewhere around. God, that's like 20,
Yeah, it was
20
something like
years
that. I
ago.
think it was you and Lindell.
It was me
K,
and
if I'm not
Lindell
mistaken.
K. Yeah. So
Batman and Robin.
yeah, so they had 3 TV networks and daily news, and then about 60, 70 different law enforcement goes from NCIS to Highway Patrol, county.
To go in to
city.
serve a restraining order?
Yep.
Why don't you
Because
just
they-
take the civil
Well,
division?
because they had sent people in that club prior, a couple hours prior, and there were weapons, there were drugs, there were girls.
Then you make a raid.
Well, basically that's what it was.
Oh,
So
okay.
they sealed off 258. Caravan of police go in, law enforcement go in, and then the media followed, and then they allowed. So here's an example. So there was a crime scene, right?
Mhm.
And then I guess
Then
I don't
they
know
let the media-
if they lifted it or we just kind of like Lindell was kind of a guy who would beg for forgiveness later.
Yeah.
So we walk in, and they had the amnesty buckets inside the club on the pool table, and they had like brass knuckles that they had confiscated. They had money, and it was like a couple $1,000s in money. There was some drugs, and then we went into the room where the ladies had been, and it was cordoned off by like white like bed sheets to like acting as curtains to divide the room.
Mhm.
And they had 2 love seats. I mean, it was comfortably seat 2. They were back to back, right, with the bed sheet kind of separating. So you got 2 compartments in there, and there was various assortments of oils on the table and some boxes of Kleenexes, some not used yet, but some had already been used.
Uh-huh.
And there was visible stains on the couch. So I wrote it that way. And it was so it happened on Saturday morning AM, so published in Sunday's paper. And Lindell's picture, we took a picture inside, and then we had a picture outside, and the picture outside was beautiful. It was like right in like the heat of the night type of picture. It was one of the girls, and she's got a cigarette, she's head down, and she's wrapped in the bed sheet at the entrance to the door. So you had the name of the club.
It was cold outside.
Everything was in context, And I remember the editor, Timmy Toller, she went nuts because of where the girls were. I remember because it was the couches had visible stains and were still damp. Something to that effect.
Well, how did you know they were still damp,
Well,
Michael?
I touched them.
Oh, that was silly.
Well, yeah, I'm trying to get I'm trying to bring the reader into the room, She went nuts. She's there. You can't publish this to my Sunday readers. Like, well, this is a great story. It was a great story,
Oh, it was awesome. And I remember how detailed it was. And Mike, I think you guys did ruffle some feathers. And of course, we had some, we had some folks back then that took offense to that, but I thought it was really,
it was great. Yeah.
I mean, the details that you guys had in that story, I'll never forget that because it was, and we laugh about it now because of the nature of the establishment, but it was some really awesome writing. I do remember that. Every time I talk to you, remember
that could have been a lot. Not the writing could have been a lot worse, but the situation could have been a lot more dangerous because Rayford, you'll appreciate this. So we're all meeting in the Superior Court building. I guess it was around 1-2 in the morning, and Ed Brown was the sheriff at the time. Mm-hmm. So everybody's there except him. So he makes the entrance. I think he came in from where the judge would come in from the courtroom. So everybody hush, hush, hush. So he talks and he's there, the way Sheriff Brown would talk, we have an activity going on over here. We're going to be very cautious about this. We're going to go in first, and then you all, the media, and you want to call him Mr. Lindell. Mr. Lindell, his name was Mr. K, but it was Mr. Lindell. And he was pointing to all of the TV people. And now at that time, the TV people not only had the stand-up person in front, like in that case, all three, they were women. Mrs. Chelsea, and who was the other? Anyway, Heather Ford, Chelsea, and there was another woman. And then they had their cameraman. Well, the cameraman for Channel 9, he's hearing where we're all going, and he had a cell phone, and he calls.
Oh no, he didn't.
Yeah, he did. He got rung up on that. He called the club ahead of time. So even though we got what we got, or I should say, even though law enforcement got what they got in the amnesty bucket, probably some of those subjects that the undercover had seen hours prior,
the big guys,
probably scrammed. Yeah. So.
Oh no, no.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, he got charged for, I guess, obstruction.
Yeah.
Something to that effect.
Should have been.
Yeah. Because it was, that's why they went in with a heavy presence, and they smothered the place. And
all it takes is one apple like that in a barrel to screw it up.
You go by that place now, it's like, I don't know, it's like a I don't know, it's something. It's not a nightclub.
Remember it.
Oh my God.
Well, I wasn't living here. I was
okay. Yeah, that was
back and forth.
I wish I had a copy of the paper because that was front page on Sunday. It was fun. It was fun.
I spent nights here, but I was on the road early morning and until early evening.
Chelsea Donovan. I'll never forget this. So if you're looking at the club from the road, there was a single wide trailer to the left. It was a residence, and they said it's not a threat. So they had scoped that out. There's the club, and to the right is like the parking area. So when they brought everybody out, and NCIS was there because, of course, if there was any military there, they're going to take care of them and get them out of there and do what they have to do. But they brought the women out, and they were mixed. It was African American and white women. Again, most of them were just wrapped in bed sheets, literally. And
it was cold.
It was cold, and so they're sitting in the back of, I guess, a patrol car. I mean, I don't know if they were under arrest or just being detained. Whatever. And Chelsea has the camera, and at that time, those are this big, big TV camera type recording, and she's poking it into the window where the person is, sitting in the back seat, and the woman looked at Chelsea, and she's here, get that effing camera out of my face, you white biatch. Oh my God. The camera's rolling. It's like, I guess you're not going to use that on the, the morning sunrise news. I'll never forget that. That was great. That was a great night. That was one of the highlights. Nobody got hurt. Nobody got hurt in doing that story.
You're lucky.
Except my editor, Timmy Toller. Her feelings
really
were
lucky.
hurt.
None of that. Nobody got hurt.
Yeah. That's seriously. Yeah. You never know.
No,
Well, and Mike, y'all were reminiscing over the good old days of the paper and everything. But I remember we had some good clashes in the newsroom from time to time, didn't we?
Yeah, but with both readers that had come into the front door, also new editors that came up from Wilmington. Those were some interesting times. But yeah, you need that in a newsroom. I think it's got to stay lively. Yeah, I mean, you get parents that, or I should say not parents, but relatives came in after a story was done on somebody within their family, like they didn't do that. They're innocent. I want that, retracted. Like, good luck. It's, it's on paper.
I hear that every day.
Or take my mugshot down. This is all the time. Yeah. Or with politicians. Local.
That's not my dope. You put that in my pocket.
Yeah. Yeah.
Chris, I got a question for you, my friend. Lacrosse. It's
in Wisconsin.
and then you got a bunch of guys up there at Duke in trouble for a while.
Yeah. That's right. The Duke lacrosse players.
Well, yeah. Well,
and their version of Stormy somebody.
That was sad news about Caleb Wilson for the Tar Heels. But anyway, lacrosse, Mike, or Chris, I'm sorry. Where are we at with lacrosse? Is the season finished?
No, the boys and girls lacrosse season is in the spring season. So the spring sports season, the practices, believe it or not, will start on Monday. Okay. A lot of these spring sports teams like lacrosse, baseball, softball, girls soccer, they've already done like their non-mandatory workouts and conditioning and things like that. This just to kind of get jump started on the season, but the official practice tryouts they'll start on Monday, and those are the practices that you have to go to if you don't show up, you can get cut or not play and things like that. So everything will start on Monday, and then it's always kind of it's always kind of interesting the first couple weeks, first month or so of the spring season when you start in February. It's still kind of cold and cool out, and I mean, just to be honest, it's really not fun being at a baseball game in February and it's 30 degrees outside or whatnot. So we definitely look forward to the weather warming up when we're out doing the outside sport.
Okay,
very good.
That's why they do spring training in Florida, Chris.
Yes,
it's crazy.
Well, actually,
Sarasota's a big place.
I had driven down Gum Branch and Henderson, and I had seen some of the Jacksonville players, and I thought, that they're in the wrong position on the practice field, thinking it was the baseball team starting spring training, and it was actually lacrosse were out there practicing. And that's why I was curious if lacrosse is getting ready to heat up.
Literally.
Yeah.
At least those kids can move around a little bit. Baseball, you're stuck in your position. That's cool. I know. I played baseball and good Lord.
I did too.
Kind of walk around out there, do nothing for the longest time.
Hey, Chris, while I have you on here, I just want to let everybody know, including you, because we did a story earlier in the week about a young junior at Jacksonville High School. He's a Cardinal. He plays number 71 offense with the Cardinal football team, and he was going in for heart surgery. Well, his mother posted this yesterday. Trey had a successful surgery, and we are so grateful for the team here at Duke Medical Center. We are also incredibly grateful for our friends and community. Thank you to everyone that has kept our son in your thoughts and prayers. The messages, check-ins, and love have meant more to our family than we can put into words. So Trey did have a surgery yesterday, heart surgery, and it was very successful. So we look forward to seeing him on the field.
Yeah, and I appreciate you letting me know about that. I know you texted me a week ago or earlier this week about that, and so glad the kid is doing better and doing well, and wish him the best of luck. And and those are the type of stories maybe down the road if he's able to play football again. And like I said before, you never want to capitalize. And Mike knows this. You never want to capitalize on a kid or someone's misfortunes or whatnot. But people enjoy reading about people who've overcome adversity. And if this kid is able to come back and play and and live a good life, then that's definitely a bit of adversity he's overcoming. So wish him the best of luck and see how he does going forward.
Absolutely.
Chris, is there one of the high schools that should be standing out in lacrosse this year?
Man, I
heard
you're on a
Northside.
lacrosse fix today, aren't you?
We will find out for next week, won't you, Chris?
Yeah, I'm trying to find out something.
There's a possibility he may be announcing those games.
Oh.
Yeah.
So I know not to go to any Jacksonville.
That's why I had to warn you.
Okay. Hey, Chris, thank you, sir.
All right, thank you, my
All right,
friend.
have a
Great
good
talking
one.
with you, Chris. I'll see you around.
Go get some flowers.
Thanks, Chris. Don't forget tomorrow.
Get some flowers. I just do a real quick up to date here on the weather.
Weather.
Yeah, it's looking pretty good around the area, weather wise. And I don't think we talked anything about what we had last time about our friends out there, right? All over the ham radio community, Southwest area. Randy had 29 degrees. Believe it or not, it was below freezing in Southwest. Lee and Back Swamp, it was 29. Dale and Carroll up River Bend, it was 27. The hot spot was the Burrow, 34 degrees.
Still chilly.
Another location further up in the Villages, I think it's called. Brian over there said it was 30 degrees. Cedar Point was 33 degrees. And over there, Gum Branch Road, in the Woodlands. It was 30 degrees too, 29 here at that time. Now, a couple hours, 33 degrees here. Humidity has gone up. Oh, it's gone down. Yeah, it was 99% earlier. It's now 82%. So
Nice.
we're looking really decent. If you want to take some time to go offshore, this might be a couple of days you could do that. Northerly winds today, 10 to 15, 2 to 4 footers every 8 seconds are far apart. Sounds and rivers a moderate chop tomorrow. 5 to 10 knot winds out of the west. Seas only about 2 feet, 8 seconds apart. Sunday, nice in the morning. Winds out of the south 5 to 10. Going to kick up a little bit in the afternoon. So there'll be 15 or 20 knot winds. Seas 2 to 4 and maybe a little bit higher in the afternoon. So anyway, y'all have a great weekend out there and please enjoy it, but do it safely. We don't want to read about you on Monday unless it's talking about how many great big fish you caught.
Yeah, stay in the boat. It's cold.
And
That water's cold.
The water's cold. This stuff, and I pulled up some stuff here while we were chit-chatting.
Right.
There are a lot of people, mostly white older adults, that are missing in this country at any given time. So many of them are suffering from dementia, first stages, second stages, or whatever. Do we know what kind of medical issues that the lady, Miss Hyatt, had in Swansboro?
She had a form of Alzheimer's dementia.
Yes.
Also,
So
ambulatory
and
issues.
there is so much of that. There is just so much of that happens. Most of them are found. We've had those here in Onslow County who have disappeared, men, women,
Mr. Winter.
mostly men.
Yeah.
And they just disappear. And suddenly 10 years later, some bones will be recovered somewhere here, there, or everywhere. Or a year later, we find that out in the wooded areas. People wander off. I don't know what her mobility state was. With a couple living there being paid to stay there with her, there should be no excuse for that to ever happen.
Yeah.
However,
her residence, if you're not familiar with that specific neighborhood, you're within less than a quarter mile or so as the bird flies to Hammock Beach State Park, most of which is wooded. Right. And it's somewhat dense in some areas.
And
it's
from October on, the chances of people just going out there doing nothing.
Right.
Mike,
Except for the critters that live in there.
Mike, have they gone as far as checking the woods or the beach area or anything?
I'm not sure about that. I don't know how far. I'm not certain that the search area extended much beyond the property itself. But like I said, it's a developed neighborhood. In fact, the former mayor lives like 3 doors down, or actually, County Commissioner John Davis lives 3 doors down from her house.
Do we have does she have electronic surveillance equipment? Security stuff?
I didn't get up close to the house because honestly, my guess would be no, because it's so overgrown.
Yeah, I heard the house was really bad inside.
Yeah.
And if she had caretakers, why?
That's a good question.
Why?
Yeah.
And she had one son, but he lives somewhere else.
So he lives out of the area.
Greensboro.
Yeah.
So, and all of those are sad. And
So
put yourself
sad.
in the position of the woman or a man. He's alone. Son or no son or whatever. I don't know how often son or no son came down. No clue. It's what, 3 hours away?
You don't know, but the impression I get is that he's somewhat estranged from his
Sure.
mother. I mean, for the fact that she's living by herself
Yes.
in that domicile, in the condition that it's in, but those caretakers are there. And maybe that's the family's way. If
They have somebody there
that they
taking
have
care
someone
of her,
taking,
right.
yeah. But boy,
Send them off to school.
yeah. Yeah.
Take care of it.
I'm trying to, I thought I had a picture of her house. My mother wandered off, like we were saying earlier in the show, and where she was going to this day, I mean, I can guess, but I mean, she lived in an urban neighborhood, busy street right in front of her house. I mean, she could have gotten clipped by a car or a bus, going out, but she went down the sidewalks and she made it about 10 blocks before she, tripped, and a huge gash on her right arm, and abrasions to her face, and some good Samaritan pulled over and called 911. And her caretaker would arrive around 1 o'clock in the afternoon. She wandered out of her house probably sometime before 11 a.m. based on the EMT report that I got and the police report that I got. They were summoned the call went in at 11:06. They were on the scene within 5 minutes. She was transported to a regional medical center and admitted at 11:40. She wasn't a Jane Doe. She had her purse with her, so she was Marion McHugh, admitted to the major hospital, Lehigh Valley Network Hospital. Police, so she's at the hospital. The caretaker comes to the house at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. No mom. So they had like 7 or 8 patrol cars. Allentown Police Department comes out and they do a concentric search of the house. So she has a basement, first floor, second floor, detached garage.
Hospital check.
No, they called the search off at 3 o'clock. We didn't find her. Well, you didn't call. I mean, if you didn't call the major hospitals, and there's a few, there's several, but that's where I would start. I mean, that's the hospital with the helicopter on the roof. I mean, it's big, right? It's a regional. It's a big hospital. For instance, when there's a wreck at Pocono during the NASCAR race, that's where they go. Right. They fly down to Allentown or to Lehigh Valley. So they called the search off. Meanwhile, she's at the hospital. So we get a mom's missing call that I'm here. And again, it was September 16th of 24. So I think it was like Hurricane Chantel or one of those was coming on shore. And I'm saying to my wife, I could fly, but I'll get stuck in Charlotte. I know I will. So I'm driving. I got to about Goldsboro when she was located at the hospital. So I just continued to drive up there. That's what you do. I got up there at 11:45. She was in the ICU. So anyway, but the thing is, law enforcement in that particular town wasn't communicating with EMT or EMS.
So it doesn't really matter where you are.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, take her same situation, wandering off, living in a rural community, let's say she lives in Swansboro in the, like off the Loop Road or something like that, and starts wandering. Well, you can wander into a woods, trip, fall, get knocked out, and there you lay.
Right.
Or just get lost.
This is crazy. We were going on the Loop Road. I guess it was Monday after the snowstorm, so the roads were kind of clear, right? My wife has a horse that lives off that road, so we had to go over and throw hay at him. And so, I don't know how you guys were, but everybody was riding or driving very cautiously, and that particular road on a good day, you got to keep your wits about you. So oncoming traffic would stop so that you could try, pass without sliding into them. We're driving there and I see this object in the road. And as we get closer, it's this woman, and just looking at, the age, she's probably 70, 80 years old, little teetery. She's in a green sweater with green slacks on and sneakers, and she's carrying a purse. She's walking down the middle of the road.
She got her purse.
Yeah. And it's like, my God. And my wife said, what we should have done was stop and ask where you're going, but you had to go feed the horse. So she's there. That's a sign of dementia. They're not using good judgment. What is so important that you have to get out and walk in the middle of the road?
To her, it was important.
It was important. So where is she going? To the Walgreens, to the Piggly Wiggly? I mean, that from where she was easily another half mile to a mile away, close in between there somewhere.
My son, my daughter, somebody did not bring me my medicine or my food, so I've got to go get it myself. That will go through their minds.
Yeah, it's just bad decision making, just like my mother. So, had she been able to drive her car, she probably would have driven her car, but we, took care of that issue. Yeah. So instead she walked,
Wow. Yeah.
But it's dementia and Alzheimer. It's horrible.
And they're still fighting for that last bit of independence.
Yeah.
it does have a way of seeping
Yeah,
through.
I mean, up till the end. I mean,
They're not
up till
necessarily fighting. It's just that they don't know that they're not independent.
I mean, when you start talking about it, a lot of families went through what my brother and I went through, and our family went through, but you don't know it until you get into it. It's like Alzheimer's for dummies. There should be a book, and like, this is what there are some lighter moments, comical moments,
There should be some training sessions.
Yeah.
Or courses.
Well, it happens too quick. I mean, it doesn't happen quickly. It happens over the course, probably in my mother's case, 8, maybe 10 years. Yes. But you don't see the signs. My leg's cramping up. You don't see the signs early on. Mm-hmm. And she was in like stage 6 or 7. Mm-hmm. Wow. So when I was with her, my brother would take her for 30 days. I'd take her for 30 days back in Allentown. So she's in her home with me, and she'd come down some mornings or early afternoons. Now, keep in mind, she was a school librarian in elementary and junior high school for 30 some years.
Wow. In
the same school district, practically at the same school. So she'd come down and she'd say, "Aren't you going to school today?" to me. "No, I'm going to stay home with you, Mom." "Well, we better get going. It's getting, we got to get to school." So she would think that she's still working. She thought she was in 1964 or 1942. Those were the 2 years that she said. So she was born in 35. Other times she'd come down dressed up. "It's Easter. Let's go." And this is in August. She's telling me that. So we'd sit and talk, and you never throw it in their face like, "Mom, this is August. It's not."
Right.
We just go with the flow, and they kind of forget about that.
Right.
But ask her who she sat next to in 2nd grade. Boom, she can tell you. Boom, who it was in the classroom. When she was with my brother, the one funny moment I thought was he came into his home, and she's sitting on the couch to his right as he entered, and there's a sitting area to the left. And he said, "How you doing, Mom? Do you need anything?" She's there. "No, but aren't you going to say hello to your father?" And my dad died 15 years ago.
We had that.
And a lot of, for forever and a day, she would say, "We really need to go see." She'd always refer to her parents as Grandma and Grandpa to me. "So we need to go really see Grandma." And my mom lived on 19th Street. My grandma lived on 9th Street. So it's not that far away. So we really should go see them. And keep in mind, this is, last year, in the year 2025, my grandparents died in 2003. They were in their 90s. They were born in 1898 and 1907. But they lived in the same house. Mm-hmm. So we finally, she said, "Let's go by the house." So we went by the house, and there was a family living in there, and they were very gracious. They let us come in, and I told them the story, and she just was looking around for Grandma and Grandpa, and always would ask about that. I guess we really should go see Grandma and Grandpa. And then, her last few months, I would be driving her back to Washington, D.C. from Allentown. And as we got closer to Washington, she would look up, and she's sitting in the front seat of my car, where I'm driving. And she'd say, "I wonder if people can walk on those clouds." She'd see the cumulus clouds. Yeah. And I wonder if people can walk.
I wondered that too.
Careful.
When I'm up in a plane, could this plane actually land on these billowy clouds up here?
I said, "I don't know, Mom." So, every time now I see cumulus clouds, I'm thinking that, if you can, that's where she's walking on the clouds up there. But it's tough, for families that are about to go into it. God bless you. Cause it's tough. It's, I think sometimes for the person that's afflicted by it, like by those anecdotal stories I just said, they're in their own kind of little world.
Yes.
And up until the final year, she was pretty much doing everything that she needed to do for herself: dress, bathe, eat, those things. And when she got cognitive tests, they're called a Montreal test. I don't know if have you ever seen that, a Montreal test? I guess it's a base on it's either on 30 points or 60 points. It's got like a picture of a horse, rhinoceros, and a giraffe. Yep. And you're just supposed to, and then you connect lines. She scored, it was a 30 basis. I think she scored a 12 2 years ago. And then when I took her last year, it was a 6. I mean, she was a brilliant woman, wow. But the mind just, it's this simple, like they like the one part of the Montreal test is a clock. It's a circular clock with 12, 1, 2, 3, and put 5 o'clock, right 5 o'clock, what would the arms look like for 5 o'clock? And she's, what's the date today? Who's the president? Who's your husband? Who's your sons? And all that. And it's gone. Just gone. Yeah. So
and sometimes that might just be a good thing for a person.
Yeah. But it's amazing. I mean, it's all about what's above the brain. you know, and it's this sticky fluid that just gums up the whole, you know, the connection up there. And it's why, you know, I keep saying to people and my brother, like, you know, we've sent mice to college since 1960 something or other, and we can't, you know, figure that out up there. We can put people on the moon, down in the ocean, and, you know, to Mars and all that. We just can't figure out how to clean out that portion.
The cobwebs.
Yeah. And, you know, you go into an assisted living center or a nursing, it's just sad. I mean, it's primarily women, mostly women, because they live longer, you know, they're younger than their husbands, so they die first. And, oh my God, it's when it's feeding, you know, when it's breakfast, lunch, or dinner, you have a CNA, a caregiver, or somebody feeding your parent, you know, or if the spouse is still alive, they're feeding their spouse, for better, for worse, you know. And then, you know, and then there's the cost. And that's another thing people aren't prepared for, you know, unless they have long-term insurance, which I don't think is totally, you know, it doesn't totally cover what, you know, expenses you have. The places that she was looking at.
Long-term runs out.
Yeah, long-term runs out is right. She was looking at she stayed, well, she was only there for less than a month or so, but it was, she had nursing care with a roommate, and it was like $15,000 a month. Yeah.
Wow.
And that was it doesn't really matter, but that was up in Pennsylvania. The place that she was rehabbing in DC, had she stayed there, would have been $19,000 a month. And it's all out of pocket, you know. And she had wonderful insurance through the Pennsylvania teachers, but unless not that kind. No, and that, I mean, that just, you know, you can have a pretty good, you know, savings, and it's going to get wiped out rather quickly. And we're talking to people at that place, you know, whether it was the DC rehab or up in Pennsylvania. Like, my mother's been here 6 years, they're saying. It's like, good Lord, you know, one person living next door to her in the rehab was a resident. She had been there 10 years.
Wow.
Think about that.
Wow.
You know?
Yes,
and yeah, I mean, so, I mean, it's reality, you know, but it's, you know, it's the cycle of life. It's the way, you know, the way the progression is supposed to work. My mother-in-law died in February of last year. My mother died in December. My dog died in November. So,
I know.
Yeah.
I pretty much kept up with you.
Yeah.
But that's what you, I mean, aside from the dog, but it's, that's what you do. You take care of your,
of course you do,
you know, and even, you know, so.
Right.
But I will say this, and I don't say this with any disparaging. I mean, I cried the most when my dog died. I mean, because it's, you know.
I did the same thing.
When you say it to,
well, you know that it's the
others are the cycle of life.
It's
a cycle of life.
Yeah.
Your parents get older. Your parents generally go first.
Yeah.
You have to deal with that.
Just the way things are supposed
I
to be.
didn't cry either one of my parents because I was actually at peace.
Exactly.
Because we stayed with them their final days, their final time. And when they took the last breath, we were like, okay, you know, this is the way it goes. But when my dog died,
it's awful. I know. Yeah. So, but
I understand. It's like a child. It's like losing a child.
It is.
Yeah.
So,
okay, you guys, pay attention for the weekend. There may or may not be anything new out of Arizona. You're going to read a lot of new stuff out of Arizona because it's going to be all opinionated. The actual facts that are coming out of Arizona are probably not coming from a legitimate source. It could be a legitimate source, but I don't necessarily consider Nancy Grace a legitimate source. I'm looking at two of the top stories here right now. One of them is dealing with the TMZ founder. They're having to quote him.
Harvey Levin.
And then we've got them quoting Nancy Grace and stuff. Here's what she thinks, and yada yada. I don't care.
I'm sending Nancy his story.
I looked at TMZ.
Well, I don't screw that up for you royally.
I know of TMZ, and it's mainly celebrity news, right?
It's like a gossip.
It's like, it's the National Enquirer digital
trash.
That's
TV.
exactly what I said.
And so I went onto the site yesterday because I saw the guy talking on Fox. So I went on. I mean, I couldn't find the Guthrie story on there. They had everything else. Somebody, you know, she's in St. Martin in a tiny bikini and this, that, and the other thing. Those types of stories.
We were wearing it.
Well, I think the lead story was that the Dawson Creek actor who died of
James Van Der.
Yeah. So that was like their lead story. Okay, I get it. So it's a celebrity type, you know, digital format. But
anyway. I never met him, never knew him or anything. I met a lot of the folks there, and one of the people on Dawson's Creek had a friend of mine. She modeled with me before there was a Dawson's Creek.
She looks evil.
Nina Murapeta, and she was, matter of fact, after she got on the show, she was the mother of Katie Holmes, whatever.
Okay.
And anyway, and after she was on the show, that chose her as the Azalea Festival queen one year, which was pretty cool. But I did a lot of work with her. She was a Cadillac dealer, got her a job there, gig. I got her a gig there to be the spokesperson for the Cadillac dealer.
Yeah, that show did good for Wilmington.
You know what was really weird about that show, which I was reading all about that. I said, I was down in the Cayman Islands diving, and I was at this place on whatever the name of it was, and we were washing our dive gear. And this guy and his couple of sons came up, and they were waiting to wash their gear and stuff like, hey, where y'all from? As everybody does. I told him, he said, oh, you're from Dawson's Creek. And that got the two teenage boys going.
Yeah.
They were, have you ever done that? No, I don't watch the show. And I never have.
Yeah.
I met some of the people there.
Yeah.
But I've never watched the show. Not once.
Wonder if that screen, it was Screen Gems, right? That was the studio.
It was.
I wonder if they're still around. I mean, they had a big facility right by the airport, wasn't it? Out there,
there's a big studio there, and they still do a lot of stuff, a lot of commercial stuff.
Yeah,
like that.
Yeah. I wonder if it'll ever come back. You know,
I don't know.
It all depends what Raleigh decides if they put the incentives out there.
Pretty much.
You know.
Yeah.
It's like Georgia was a big hub for filming.
And Shelby, North Carolina, they had a big studio there one time.
Really.
Interesting. Easy come, easy go.
Yeah.
All right, Mike, we do appreciate you coming in.
Thank you. It was great catching up.
I know.
Come on in anytime.
Absolutely.
If there's anything we can do for you down there, just scream and holler.
Yeah. Well, we'll find Katie.
That's fine, Katie.
We'll stay with that story. See what happens.
Yes.
We will be happy to get involved with that as much as you. The more new information somebody can turn up, the more we can spread it around to people, the better off it is.
Well, when this Guthrie story came out, I've gotten so involved in it. But when I saw his story, it stopped me in my tracks. And I said, my gosh.
With everything that I knew about it, which was very little, except where I could read, everything that I knew about it came from the lack of media coverage. And the media coverage is only there's a missing person here.
Yeah.
This is not unusual. Okay.
It's not
missing persons are not unusual unless there's some sort of a peg. You find a crime connection there. Yeah. But if somebody walks away.
Yeah. But I get your premise, but the person has to have the capability of walking away.
Right.
So she has a lot against her as far as mobility goes.
Well, Miss Hyatt was bedridden.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah, that's how she's described. Yeah.
Yes.
I did go voting yesterday. I did voting. I went to vote.
Voting or voting?
Okay. I'm halfway through
I went voting yesterday.
your forms from Thursday night.
Yeah.
I'm halfway through them. Wednesday night.
Yeah.
I'm halfway through them.
Yep.
I'll finish them up today.
She's got some criticism.
It's the sound.
Was it?
Yeah.
It was loud from.
It was,
too loud?
No, I have to turn the speakers all the way full blast, and it was kind of a hollow sound. So you
got a dead room.
You have to sit there.
You need a dead room.
Squint your eyes and turn your head sideways to comprehend. But no, I'm halfway through it. So
good.
I got tired last night.
We had all the Board of Education candidates.
Yes, you did.
The commissioners, we missed Tyler.
Tyler, he didn't show up for the Jacksonville.
Yeah, that's what I understand. That's what they
Right.
were telling me. But they all.
Who?
Yeah.
Tyler Gooch.
So I went to vote. I went to vote yesterday at Swansboro.
Good.
They at the rec center. So
What number were you?
22
That's
at
good.
11:30.
Yeah, that's good though.
But it's interesting. I hadn't experienced this before. So I walk in, and I was the only voter in there at the time. So there was probably about 8 or 10 poll workers, right?
Right.
That's all said and done. So I present my my license, and they said, "State your address." Right.
Right.
So I tell my address, and out comes the 3 pieces of paper.
Right.
So I take it to the next desk, and they said, "Review this, make sure it's all correct, and then sign here." So I look at, and not only does it have my street address, but it has the P.O. box that I used back in 2001 when we were building our house, living in Emerald Isle, to come over to Swansboro. I said, and they asked me, is your phone number still 526-6800, which was an Alltel number I had back in 2000 when we moved down here.
Wow.
Right. I said, no. I said, it's this. So they changed it. Okay. So go over to the next table. check it out, sign it. It's all right. So they had a PO box in there, and they had the old phone number. I said, no, I said the PO box is not my mailing address. This is, and that's the old phone number. Ooh. So we went back to table 1, and they brought over, I guess it's the judge, right? The chief judge,
Right.
right?
Paul
And
Josh.
well, you can't do it here because that'll delete him and blah 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 blah. So go ahead, print out a new copy, and then just X this one. So they print out another copy. I look at it, and they said just review that and sign it. And I look at the address, street address, and still there's PO Box 860. I said the PO Box is still on there. I said, look, this is no big deal. I mean, I don't think it's going to matter. Oh no, it's going to matter to us. Back to table 1. They called BOE down in Georgetown. They got put on hold. I was there for about 20 minutes, right?
Wow.
So we get the third sheet, or the third set iteration. And it has now all of a sudden the PO box is gone, but the phone number comes up again, the all telephone number. So by this time, I'm the only one in there. And they're like, he just won't go away. So the chief judge, she comes over again. She said, the phone number's on there. I said, I don't think this is going to matter with my vote. So she goes over into the corner. She calls somebody, and she comes out with this long, like 8.5 by 14 piece of paper, and it's got these red lines on it. And she's there. Okay, you got a choice. You can do one of 3 things. You can fill this out now with the correct information, take it home, fill it out, mail it back, or you can cycle and see if it's all updated.
Mm-hmm.
I said, you know what? I'll take door number 3. I said, because I said, you know what? I said, I think you guys, you know where I live, so to speak. You said, you know where I am. She's there. We know.
After the election's over, just fill out a new one and send it.
So I asked for 3 ballots because I had gone, through all that. They said, no, you just get 1. So, I get into the polling place, and for SW19, which is my precinct,
right.
I had U.S. Senate, I had a judge race, I had Board of Education, and I had Board of Commissioners.
That's all I have to.
And that's all I had. Yeah. I thought, I was under the I was wrong. I thought District 1 of the Congress swerved into my part of Swansboro. But I think it's just the Cedar Point it's the two. Well, I don't even think I don't know if it's a sliver, because I talked to someone who lives on the other side of Swan, and they didn't have the Asa Buck race, the District 1 race. So I don't know if it's just like the 28584 zip code that's across the White Oak in Carteret County.
Probably.
All the more reason why they need their own zip. They need their own zip code over there.
Right.
But
they do.
They will never get a post office.
They won't be PO.
But anyway,
they can have 2 different zip codes.
But yeah, I was 22nd ballot cast, which I think is slow. It's supposedly the busy day of early voting. Now this weekend, it was good
training for them.
It was good training.
Have we got an elections director yet?
I don't think so. I don't know. No.
There's a job for you.
No, thank you. No, thank you.
You can do it in your spare time.
Yeah. No, thank you.
Michael, thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you so much. Enjoyed it.
Yep, always.
Our guest today has been Mike McHugh, retired and working.
Kind of.
Retired but still working, right?
Yeah, that's
as
part of
we
the
all
purpose. Get to list ourselves these days.
Purpose.
Well, you guys have a great weekend, gentlemen. Don't get go get something.
You have less than 24 hours. This is your
flowers, candy,
your final
diamond rings, if you like, whatever. Just don't forget it, okay?
Right.
And though the fishing is great tomorrow, the water's going to be great tomorrow. Unless she wants to go fishing and you want to bring her along with a brand new fishing pole that you give her for Valentine's Day, forget about it. She'll have some other better days, okay? And don't walk under any ladders today or jump over any black cats. We will see you on Monday morning, bright and early.
Yes, we have a Board of Education candidate coming in. I'm excited to have her in.
Oh, good.
Desi Haywood.
Then I can give her a test, right?
Right.
A math test. You're live and local. We'll talk, and we will see you on Monday morning. We're awake, not woke, but I'm going to go take a nap. Bye.